Hey everyone, welcome to the third part of the story. She left Maine at the wedding because I had no money, but I married a hot billionaire. If you haven't seen the previous parts, I'll leave them in the pinned comment. Enjoy watching. In the previous part, Ouyang Shuwei, concerned about the potential exposure of Song Yun's identity, learned from Ouyang Rong that old Chi Wai was interested in the prescription given by Song Yun. Understanding the danger of Song Yun's identity being revealed, Ouyang Shuwei suggested immediately sending him and his family back to Shanghai. However, their plans were disrupted by the sudden arrival of old Qi accompanied by a group of doctors, insisting on meeting Song Yun. Old Qi claimed to have found his senior disciple. The meeting between Song Yun and old Qi was remarkable. Initially taken aback by Song Yun's youth and appearance, old Qi's demeanor changed when the young doctor began describing his chance encounter with an elderly teacher on a rainy night, portraying the old man with a white beard and kind eyes. Old Qi's mind recognized the familiar traits of his great teacher, who had disappeared on travels many years ago. Struggling to believe what he was hearing, old Qi listened attentively to Song Yun's account. Then, with trembling voice, he acknowledged Song Yun as his uncle master. Overwhelmed with respect, old Qi knelt before the young doctor, whose wisdom and talent surpassed everyone's expectations. Song Yun hurriedly tried to help him up, but old Qi's legs felt as heavy as lead, refusing to budge. "Uncle Master, you might not understand the whole story," old Qi said, tears welling up in his eyes. "The master you met is my grandmaster. 20 years ago, he hit a bottleneck in his medical practice and left the sect, never to be seen again. Shenyi Hall has used countless resources to find him, but without success. This has been a regret my master carried until his death. But I didn't expect to meet you today. Now, under my leadership, Shenyi Hall is flourishing. As the highest-ranking member of our sect, I hope you will come back with me. I'm willing to give up my position as the head of Shenyi Hall." These words shocked everyone present. Ouyang Shu looked at Song Yun in amazement, unable to believe his luck. Even Yi Qingqing unconsciously tightened her grip on Song Yun's arm, overwhelmed by the revelation that her husband was old Qi's uncle. Moreover, it seemed like old Qi wanted her husband to take over as head of Shenyi Hall. In this world, which profession has the widest network? Doctors, of course. Especially famous ones. In this era where life and death are inevitable, having a master doctor is like adding a layer of security to your life. "Honey, am I dreaming? Did we just hit the jackpot today by meeting so many important people?" Yi Qingqing muttered in a daze. Song Yun was panicking. He didn't know what to do next. He couldn't just shamelessly seize power, could he? Besides, where was Shenyi Hall? He knew nothing about this sect. Perhaps seeing the confusion in Song Yun's eyes, Ouyang Shu coughed lightly and said, "Shenyi Hall currently has 253 doctors, 63 of whom are certified famous doctors in China. And this doesn't even include those who have already started their own practices. If you take over as head, then everyone will have to respect you." What the heck? It turned out that the unassuming Shenyi Hall was so powerful? Searching his memory, Song Yun finally recalled information about Shenyi Hall. Following this memory, he found the original owner and saw the system's simulation of him. Song Yun was stunned. The old man looked just like the master he had described in his lie. Checking the identity, he realized this must indeed be old Qi's grandmaster. So he did have some connection with Shenyi Hall after all. "Please get up first," Song Yun said, coming back to his senses and seeing old Qi still kneeling. But old Qi stubbornly said, "If Uncle Master doesn't agree to return with me, I will kneel here until I die." Oh no! Things were getting out of hand. Song Yun's expression changed. With a stern face he said, "Are you defying your Uncle Master's orders?" "No, I dare not. I will get up immediately." Song Yun breathed a sigh of relief. He personally dusted off old Qi's knees and helplessly said, "I only learned a little from my master. Do you really think I deserve your kneeling?" "You do," old Qi said firmly. "No matter what, you are my grandmaster's disciple, and therefore my master's peer. I dare not disrespect you." This left Song Yun in a difficult position. As he was trying to think of a way to refuse, Ouyang Shu spoke up, "Maybe young Song will lead Shenyi Hall in the future. But for now, it's impossible." Why? Old Qi's eyes darkened. In his view, someone of Song Yun's seniority in the traditional medicine field should be prominent and respected. Ouyang Shu fell silent, unsure how to explain that Song Yun's identity needed to remain low-key. After thinking for a moment, Ouyang Shu decided to tell old Qi the whole story. He led him outside and explained the situation in detail. "Brother Qi, if you don't want to harm Song Yun, you must minimize the impact of today's events." Old Qi hadn't realized Song Yun's identity was so significant. He had met Song Bo back in the day, and his confident demeanor was still etched in his memory. "I promise you, old Qi sighed. Meanwhile, in the bustling metropolis of Shanghai, the Nangong family had launched a full-scale attack. Nangong Han rented a skyscraper in Shanghai's most prosperous commercial district as the Nangong family's base of operations. The company had a registered capital of 6.5 billion yuan. By continuously encroaching on the Yi family's business, the company's market value had already surpassed many established enterprises. This served as a beacon, attracting many to the Nangong family's fold. For a time, the Nangong family was unrivaled in Shanghai, leaving the Yi family far behind. People tend to gravitate towards fortune and avoid misfortune. On one hand, there was Nangong Han, a member of a prestigious family from the capital, and on the other, the Yi family, which had shaky foundations despite its assets. It was clear the Yi family was destined to decline. At this moment, Nangong Han was attending a banquet. Today he used the Zhuang family's name to invite various business owners and family heads, wanting to see who still supported the Yi family. As the banquet began, sure enough, 90% of the invited guests arrived on time. Nangong Han didn't bother with those who didn't show up. "Young Master Nangong, thank you for giving us this opportunity to connect. I'd like to offer you a toast," said a businessman, raising his glass. Nangong Han graciously drank his wine in one go. This scene made everyone present warm up to Nangong Han. After all, he was the eldest grandson of a first-rate family in China, noble and high-ranking. Lowering himself to acknowledge them was a great honor. Everyone, with various thoughts in mind, toasted Nangong Han. The atmosphere of the banquet became lively, with many familiar faces even sharing bawdy jokes. Nangong Han, holding his wine glass, looked at the crowd with satisfaction. His visit to Shanghai was not just about making money for his family but also about laying a solid foundation in case the Nangong family lost its struggle against the Zhao family. This mission was crucial, and he desperately needed a good reputation. After several rounds of drinks and dishes, the head of a small Shanghai family approached Nangong Han, flattering him. "Young Master Nangong, I heard you're still single. My daughter is 20, never been in a relationship. How about?" Before he could finish, those around him inwardly cursed him for being shameless enough to offer his daughter for a connection. But honestly, if their daughters could marry into the Nangong family, wouldn't they also rise to prominence? But Nangong Han's next words left everyone deeply disappointed. He explained that his family had been in a state of development for the past few years, and as the eldest grandson and future head of the Nangong family, he simply could not afford to be distracted by romantic entanglements. Given this, the guests fell silent. Some, however, began to think that while their daughters might not be suitable to become the main wife of the Nangong family, perhaps they could be considered as concubines instead. Surely Nangong Han wouldn't refuse a willing and advantageous relationship. These people felt no moral conflict in using their daughters to climb the social ladder. On the contrary, they believed they were securing a bright future for them. The banquet continued until the evening, and the guests left in high spirits. Nangong Han and Zhuang Saiheng returned to the Zhuang family residence, where servants thoughtfully provided them with 2 hot towels. Nangong Han placed the towel on his face, sighed deeply, and said, "Everything is ready. Let's begin." Zhuang Saiheng was ecstatic upon hearing this. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. Once the Yi family was taken down, the Zhuang family would rise to become the wealthiest in Shanghai. However, Zhuang Saiheng was unaware that Nangong Han had already started maneuvering behind the scenes, planning to oust him after devouring the Yi family's assets. Meanwhile, at the Yi Group, in the top-floor conference room, all the senior executives of the company were gathered. Recently, Shanghai's business scene had been chaotic, with their group's various businesses being aggressively targeted. Moreover, the originally healthy cash flow had become extremely fragile due to the acquisition of the IS company. The executives sat in their seats, each lost in their own thoughts. "Chairman, some of our peripheral businesses have been entirely taken over by the Nangong family. They're starting to encroach on our core operations. If this continues, the whole group won't even be able to repay bank loans," one executive said with a furrowed brow. Yet Yi Sr. continued to calmly sip his tea, showing no intention of responding. This behavior greatly disappointed everyone present. Was this still the chairman who once fought on the front lines? Had the chairman's ambition been dulled by years of wealth and comfort? If this were the case, they might as well pledge loyalty to the Nangong family now. Although the Nangong family had only recently arrived in Shanghai, their strength was undeniable, and they would surely replace the Yi family if they continued to grow. "I have my own plans regarding this matter. You don't need to ask further." Yi Sr. put down his teacup, his demeanor changing. A sharp glint appeared in his eyes as he coldly surveyed everyone, saying, What you should be concerned about are the projects you're handling. Is the group's business truly that difficult to maintain? Or have some of you been leaking information? Don't think that just because I've been in a high position for many years, and haven't been down to the grassroots level, I can't see through your little schemes. Chairman, everyone is just thinking of the company's best interests. If the company falls, what good are our positions? Accusing us without any reason is really disheartening, said a senior executive, representing the sentiment of many who had lost their basic respect for Yi Sr. Kung Ji-kyung, you're already 63, right? Yi Sr. said with a smile. You're not old enough to be senile yet, so how could you be so confused? During the acquisition of his company, it was clearly someone within the group who leaked information, causing us significant losses. How could you forget this so soon? Yi Sr. stood up, took the documents from Fan Yiru, and slammed them on the table. I have a list here. The people on it have all, to varying extents, received money from the Zhuang family recently. Will you step forward voluntarily, or shall I call names? The executives fell silent, looking around nervously. They didn't know if this was a bluff or if Yi Sr. truly had evidence. I'll count to 3. If I have to say it myself, you know the consequences. The executives remembered the young and decisive Yi Sr., who dealt ruthlessly with enemies. One vice president who took kickbacks from partners ended up in prison. I'm sorry, Chairman. I did something against the company and I accept the punishment. Chairman, I don't know what I was thinking at the time. Some rose silently, some made long speeches, and some, disbelieving Yi Sr. could know, stayed put, angrily denouncing the traitors. Submit your resignation letters. You've made enough money in this group to retire comfortably. Yi Sr. clapped his hands, and a group of security guards rushed in, dragging out those who confessed. The conference room door closed, and Yi Sr. divided the documents into 10 portions. He then circled the room, placing these documents next to different people. I feel ashamed to have subordinates like you who can't own up to their mistakes. Chairman, The recipients of the documents turned pale and tried to defend themselves, but Yi Sr. cut them off, opening the door again. This time, police officers entered. At that moment, all they could think was it's over. Everything is over. Their wealth and bright futures were ruined by one moment of greed. Chairman, I've made so much profit for the company over the years. You can't discard me like this. Old Yi. I joined the company when it was first founded. Do you really have the heart to send an old friend to jail? Chairman, I'll resign. I don't want anything, just spare me for my years of hard work. Yi Sr. ignored them, turning to the police. Captain Lee, we have collected all the evidence. Please proceed. Captain Lee nodded, astonished that a prestigious company like Yi Group harbored so many traitors. This news would undoubtedly cause a huge uproar if it got out. With the traitors dealt with, the remaining executives breathed a sigh of relief. Yi Sr. picked up his water glass, took a sip, and said, Kong Ji-kyung, you're too old to keep up with the group's pace. It's time for you to rest. Kong Ji-kyung's lips trembled, wanting to say something, but the reality of the situation silenced him. He nodded dejectedly and left the room. Everyone here is a pillar of our group. In the future, I hope you can shoulder more responsibilities. The group will not treat you unfairly. Song Yun was unaware that during his 2-day absence, various forces in Shanghai had already started to clash. Every day, companies were going bankrupt, while those who allied with the Nangong family were rising to become new billionaires. At this moment, he had just said goodbye to old Master Ouyang and was planning to return to Shanghai with Yi King. Before their departure, old Master Ouyang had specifically assigned a security personnel from his own team to protect Song Yun. Although Song Yun believed that, as an ordinary citizen, he wouldn't face any issues, he couldn't refuse old Master Ouyang's serious insistence. The man assigned to protect Song Yun was named Huang Baoding. Song Yun knew only his name and nothing about his background. Huang, once we get to Shanghai, although you won't have as much power as in the capital, your life will definitely be more free, Song Yun said with a smile as they arrived at the airport. The pressure in the capital is immense. Just thinking that anyone walking on the street could be a high-ranking official makes me feel constrained. Huang Baoding understood this well. Near the Ouyang family estate, there were several courtyards where influential families lived. Yet, in a crowd, they looked no different from ordinary people exercising in the park. Mr. Song, should I stay with you in Shanghai? Huang Baoding asked. Usually, as a personal bodyguard, he needed to live under the same roof as the person he was protecting. However, since Song Yun and Yi King were newlyweds, they might not want their privacy invaded. I have a villa in Shanghai with plenty of rooms. If you don't mind, you can stay with us, Song Yun replied cheerfully. Just then, the system's voice rang out. Ing. Congratulations to the host for activating follower mode. Would you like to open the panel? Follower? Song Yun glanced curiously at Huang Baoting. Was the system referring to him? Out of curiosity, Song Yun opened the panel. Follower NO.1. Name Huang Baoting. Age 31. Gender male. Skills proficient in firearms, hand-to-hand combat, surveillance and counter-surveillance, driving cars, helicopters, and tanks. Loyalty 54. Note, if loyalty drops below 50, the follower will be automatically removed. Cars were understandable. But helicopters and tanks? Clearly Huang Baoting had an impressive background, possibly being an elite soldier. Considering Old Master Ouyang's significant status before retirement, it made sense that those protecting him were not ordinary individuals. Ing. Detected. The host is at Xiaoxing Airport in the capital. Would you like to check in? The system's second notification left Song Yun stunned. Why didn't it prompt him to check in when he arrived earlier? But now wasn't the time to dwell on that. Song Yun quickly pressed the check-in button. Ing. Congratulations to the host for completing this check-in. Reward all shares of Daxia Airlines. Current market value 360 billion yuan, ranking second among Chinese airlines. What? Song Yun was dumbfounded. He had expected at most a private jet, but the system went all out, giving him an entire airline. Honey, there's still over an hour before boarding. Let's go to the lounge and relax, Yi King said, clinging to Song Yun's arm. Let's go right now, Song Yun replied joyfully. At this point, not just the lounge, even the airport manager's office would be fine. The three of them headed to the lounge, showing their first-class tickets, and were led to the sofa area. Inside, Song Yun looked around, noticing that the lounge was filled with elite individuals. They either worked on financial reports on their laptops or read books, with none playing on their phones. Song Yun, Yi King, and Huang Baoting found an empty sofa. Yi King picked up some magazines and started reading. Not far away, a well-dressed young man glanced up and saw Yi King under the light, radiating an enchanting glow. For a moment, the young man's eyes were captivated. Wow! This young lady is stunning. Could this be love at first sight? The young man, experienced in relationships, thought he was immune to such feelings. But today fate had him encounter his destined one. Hey little brother, what do you think about me finding you a sister-in-law, he said, patting his younger brother, who was engrossed in his thesis. His brother looked up, puzzled. Didn't you say your love life died back in elementary school? Who caught your eye this time? Look over there. The younger brother followed his gaze, and was equally astonished. How about it? Isn't she beautiful? Do you think it would be inappropriate if I just went over and introduced myself? The young man clenched his fists, lowering his excited voice. I just saw her, and I already have names for our future children. This is the power of love. However, the younger brother didn't agree. Seeing his brother's intense gaze, the young man feared his brother wanted to compete for the woman. Listen to me, little brother. You're still young, and many women await you in the future, he advised earnestly. Look at that beauty's cold demeanor. You can't handle her. Brother. Didn't you notice the man next to her? The younger brother grabbed his arm. That's Song Yun, the largest shareholder of Shanshui Group. Huh. You should really keep up with business news, the younger brother complained, his eyes still fixed on Song Yun. Mr. Song is now ranked 25th on China's rich list. He's the biggest shareholder of Shanshui Group. It's rumored that he has many undiscovered businesses. Even my mentor wants to interview him and write a paper on his success story. Hearing this, the young man's eyes widened. Although he hadn't paid much attention to Shanshui Group or the rich list, he knew his brother's mentor was a renowned economics professor at Shanghai University, recognized as a Changjiang scholar. If such a learned person wanted to interview this young man, it showed how influential he was. Gulp. The young man swallowed hard, relieved he hadn't gone over to flirt. Otherwise he might have faced dire consequences. Song Yun sat there, deep in thought, looking at his plane ticket. Since he had already checked in, the airport executive should have been informed of his presence. They should have relayed his ticket purchase information to the person in charge. But 20 minutes had passed, and no one had come to find him. Did his position as chairman hold no weight? Honey, who are you looking at in the lounge? Yi King turned his face towards her, pouting as if she could hang a kettle from her lips. I'm not looking at anyone in particular. I was just curious about how people in high society wait for their flights, Song Yun joked. Yi King rolled her eyes at her husband and said, How can I call myself high society? Your net worth is far higher than mine. I'm just working for you now. Song Yun, holding Yi King's waist, smiled and lightly pinched her side, waggling his eyebrows at her. Yi King, recognizing his playful intent, blushed and lightly punched his chest, saying, "I may not be high society, but you sure are a rogue." "I'm only a rogue for you," Song Yun whispered in her ear. While the couple exchanged sweet nothings, in the highest conference room of the airport, the general manager addressed his staff. "The board of directors has just informed me that Chairman Song is currently at the airport. I saw from the internal ticket records that Mr. Song will be boarding a flight to Shanghai in about half an hour." This caused a buzz among the staff. Why didn't the chairman notify his secretary in advance? We could have prepared a private jet for him. Exactly. As the chairman of Daxia Airlines, it's disgraceful for him to travel on a commercial flight. Due to the system's memory insertion, everyone was aware of Song Yun's information. They wondered why he was traveling incognito. The general manager knocked on the table to get their attention and said, "Has it occurred to anyone that Chairman Song might be conducting a covert inspection to understand the operational and service conditions better?" That makes sense. After all, Chairman Song hasn't been involved in the company's affairs for years. He must want to know the current state of things first, a crew manager speculated. Although I believe our services and efficiency are top-notch in China, Chairman Song might have concerns. I plan to meet with him personally to hear his feedback. Also, prepare Chairman Song's private jet. Once the meeting is over, we will arrange for his immediate boarding, the general manager instructed. Understood. The staff dispersed to prepare for Chairman Song's inspection. The general manager adjusted his attire, practiced a perfect smile in the mirror, and headed to the lounge. "Brother, with such a high status, doesn't he have his own private jet?" the wealthy young man asked, puzzled. His younger brother glared at him, annoyed. He had wanted to ask for an autograph, but his brother's questions interrupted his thoughts. "Mr. Song is being discreet. Not all wealthy people flaunt their wealth by spending lavishly," the younger brother retorted, although he was also puzzled. As an economics major, he was well versed in the history and business models of various tycoons. Song Yun, as the largest shareholder of Shanshui Group, should have multiple bodyguards and exclusive transportation. Why was he boarding a commercial flight like them? Could he have mistaken someone else for Song Yun? As they approached the boarding gate, the brothers went ahead, with Song Yun and his party following. Seeing Song Yun behind them, the younger brother's heart raced. He blushed and pulled his brother aside, signaling Song Yun's group to go first. Just as Song Yun nodded in acknowledgement, the general manager ran over. "Chairman Song, please wait a moment." Everyone turned to see a man in a suit running towards them with over 10 people. Seeing the insignia on their suits, the younger brother quickly stepped aside. These were high-ranking officials from Daxia Airlines. "Chairman Song, I'm the airport manager, Jiao Ming. You can call me Xiao Jiao." Jiao Ming said, catching his breath. "We didn't know you were coming, so we didn't prepare in advance. Please forgive us." With that, the executives behind him lined up and bowed deeply to Song Yun, chanting, "Please forgive us, Chairman Song." Witnessing this, the onlookers were stunned, especially the two brothers. The younger brother gazed at Song Yun with admiration, seeing him as a role model for young entrepreneurs. The older brother swallowed hard, grateful he hadn't tried to approach Song Yun earlier. "Honey, what's going on?" Yu King asked curiously. Could it be that Song Yun also had shares in Daxia Airlines? Jiao Ming gestured respectfully, saying, "Chairman Song, we have prepared a private jet for you. Please allow me to escort you to board." He stood by Song Yun's side, ready to guide him. Song Yun nodded, took Yu King's hand and started walking. Huang Baoting followed, deep in thought. "I didn't expect Mr. Song to have such strong ties with Daxia Airlines. I can boast about this to my seniors when I get back to school," the younger brother exclaimed. High-level figures like Song Yun being personally attended to by the general manager was a rare sight. Wow, a private jet. Song Yun must be incredibly wealthy. "Our dad wanted to buy a private jet once but gave up when he saw the price. This isn't something ordinary families can afford," the older brother said enviously. Just as the brothers were lost in their thoughts, the words of the executives behind them left them stunned. Mr. Song is truly low-key. Even if he weren't the chairman of Daxia Airlines, he's still the largest shareholder of Shanshui Group. It's incredible that he doesn't travel by private jet. This level of humility is something I can aspire to for a lifetime. Mr. Song is so handsome. I thought the photos on the company intranet were photoshopped. But seeing him now, he's even more charming in person. It's an honor to work at a company under Mr. Song. The group of executives happily discussed. But their words left the two brothers in shock. Especially the younger brother, who adjusted his glasses as if he'd discovered a great secret. "So, Daxia Airlines is also Mr. Song's enterprise. My God, Mr. Song's actual assets must surpass those of Shanghai's richest man. Wait, hold on. Isn't the current richest man in Shanghai Mr. Song's father-in-law? This is so intricate. Initially he thought Mr. Song had married into the Yi family. Later, learning that Mr. Song was a major shareholder of Shan Shui Group, he believed their statuses were equivalent. But now it seems that it's the Yi family who has climbed up. Meanwhile, Song Yun and his party followed the general manager through a private passage to the tarmac, where they saw a plane with a large character Song painted on it. No doubt, this was Song Yun's private jet. Upon boarding, 2 flight attendants warmly greeted them, and even the captain came over to introduce himself, eager to make a good impression on their first meeting with Mr. Song. Song Yun settled into the soft sofa, holding a specially made drink, and sighed comfortably. Private jets truly are superior. The interior decoration and privacy are leagues above first class on a regular plane. Honey, when did you buy a plane? Yi Qingqing was still in shock. She thought the plane he bought would cost at most a couple of billion yuan, but seeing this, she was stunned. This plane was a modified Boeing 7478. Just purchasing the base model cost over $400 million, not to mention the maintenance. It's astronomical. So what? It's just a plane. It didn't cost much, Song Yun said, smiling as he held Yi Qingqing. Yi Qingqing sighed and said, do you know how much this plane costs in Chinese yuan? About 2.6 billion. Your dear father-in-law once wanted to buy one but gave up, because maintaining it costs tens of millions every year. Now you can say you're more impressive than the richest man in Shanghai. Song Yun, who was drinking water, nearly choked. What? Did he hear that right? This plane costs 2.6 billion? And it's continuously expensive to maintain. Wow. He originally thought a plane might cost a few billion at most, but it turns out it's way beyond that. Honey, tell me, what other assets do you have that I don't know about? Yi Qingqing asked sweetly, snuggling up to Song Yun. She felt like she wasn't a very qualified wife since she had no idea how much money her husband actually had. Why don't you guess? Song Yun replied awkwardly. He couldn't tell Yi Qingqing about his assets because they were constantly increasing. Today he might say one thing, but tomorrow another company might pop up. It would feel like lying. HMPF. Shanshui Group is yours, Tianyu is yours, and even Daxia Airlines is yours. Yi Qingqing pouted. I'll slowly uncover all your secrets. Huang Baoding, sitting not far away, watched Song Yun intently. He couldn't believe that someone so young had amassed such wealth. Even the eldest son of the most powerful family in the capital couldn't compare to Song Yun. Strangely, despite all this wealth, Song Yun wasn't famous. He didn't have any bodyguards either. If old Master Yang hadn't assigned him, this guy would still be wandering around alone. Man, you need to act more like a wealthy person. Most billionaires travel with 7 or 8 bodyguards to prevent accidents. But you act like an ordinary person. Huang Baoding decided that once they reached Shanghai, his first priority would be to contact his old comrades and form a dedicated security team for Song Yun. Otherwise, he'd be constantly worried. The plane took off smoothly, heading towards Shanghai without any turbulence. The plane was equipped with pre-downloaded videos from across the internet for passengers to watch. Song Yun wasn't interested, but Yi Qingqing, holding a pile of snacks, was engrossed in the latest popular romantic drama. She laughed and cried, dragging Song Yun into the story. Honey, it's so sad. The heroine was misunderstood by the hero, and her parents had a car accident. When she needed him the most, he was at a bar with the second female lead. Bad man. Yi Qingqing sobbed into Song Yun's arms. Seeing his wife so upset, Song Yun joined in, cursing the scumbag with her. Honey, I'm sleepy. I want to take a nap. Yi Qingqing stretched and rubbed her eyes before heading to the bedroom. Song Yun's eyes sparkled. They hadn't spent much time alone recently. Should he go too? No. He was going to comfort his overly emotional wife, not take advantage. With this justification, Song Yun eagerly followed her into the room. An hour later, Yi Qingqing, adjusting her clothes, glared at Song Yun. Thanks to him, she was no longer sleepy at all. The plane soon landed at Shanghai Airport. After disembarking, the crew courteously escorted them out of the airport. At the entrance, a car sent by Yi Qingqing's father was waiting to take them home. The driver, Tu Gang, tensed up upon seeing Huang Baoding. Huang Baoding also frowned, staring at Tu Gang. Sensing the rising tension, Song Yun quickly intervened. Uncle Tu, this is Huang, the bodyguard assigned to me by an elder in the capital. Huang, this is my father-in-law's bodyguard. We're all family. Hello. Tu Gang extended his hand. After a brief, discreet test of strength, he turned away, gritting his teeth at his slightly reddened hand. Mr. Song, your father-in-law's bodyguard is no ordinary person, Huang Beiding whispered to Song Yun. Of course. Uncle Tu is also from the military. You two might even be old comrades, Song Yun replied. Huang Beiding looked at Song Yun in disbelief. Why didn't he mention this earlier? This was a classic case of one temple not recognizing another's Dragon King. He quickly saluted Tu Gang. Hello, old squad leader. Sorry for my earlier disrespect. It's nothing. You've got some serious strength, Tu Gang replied warmly before inviting everyone into the car. When Song Yun and his party arrived at the Yi family home, they noticed two luxury cars parked at the entrance. Could it be that the Yi family had guests? Holding Yi Qingqing's hand, Song Yun headed toward the living room. Meanwhile, Tu Gang and Huang Beiding, who had become fast friends on the way, went off to chat in a corner. Entering the living room, Song Yun saw Yi father frowning, clearly displeased with the two men before him. Opposite Yi father sat Zhuang Xiheng and Nengong Han, who were there to pressure the Yi family into selling, aiming for a complete takeover in a short period. Ah, Xiao Song, you're back. Come and sit. Yi father beckoned Song Yun over. As for Yi Qingqing, she went upstairs to find her mother, as the men's discussion wasn't something she could involve herself in. This must be Mr. Song. Quite the impressive young man, Zhuang Xiheng complimented. Mr. Song, we might have the chance to collaborate in the future. Please accept this small gift as a token of my respect. He handed over a small box which, when opened, revealed a jade ring that shone with a mesmerizing green hue. Song Yun examined it and thought, could this be the imperial green often mentioned in novels? Hello, Song Yun. I'm Nengong Han. The eldest grandson of the Nengong family from the capital. Nengong Han extended his hand politely, but Song Yun ignored him, leaving Nengong Han to bite back his irritation. He thought, even if you're impressive now, you rose to prominence through the Yi family. Just wait until the Yi family declines, then I'll deal with you. Master Zhuang, this ring must be quite valuable, Song Yun said in amazement, then added, but a weasel paying respect to a chicken is never a good intention, is it? Zhuang Xiheng, embarrassed, replied Mr. Song, you must be joking. Your Shanshui group is a giant in its own right. Many would love to be associated with you. There's a hidden message in your words, Song Yun remarked. Zhuang Xiheng's current proposal was meant to imply that no matter how powerful you are you planning to use the capital behind Shanshui Group to help your father-in-law? It might just invite joint resistance from others. So, what brings you two to the Yi family? Song Yun asked. Hearing this, Nengong Han adjusted his demeanor and said, I heard the Yi Group has been facing financial difficulties recently, so I brought 60 billion in cash to help out. Oh, and what do you want in return? I want all the shares of the Yi Group, Nengong Han declared boldly. Song Yun, observing coldly, thought that they really intended to crush the Yi family. But does Song Yun seem like someone who lacks money? Even if the Yi family is broke, he could easily put up a few $100 billion to help them out, and his wife might even reward him for it. Sorry, gentlemen, but our family matters don't concern you. If my father-in-law lacks money, I've got it covered, Song Yun said dismissively. Zhuang Xiheng laughed and shook his head. Mr. Song, we know you have money, but that money won't be effective here. Even if you have hundreds of billions, throwing it in might just make the Yi family decline faster. Plus, the Yi Group is still repaying bank loans from the IS company acquisition. Without any profitable business, they might not even be able to cover the interest in a month. Song Yun nodded lightly. And what does that have to do with you? Zhuang Xiheng was speechless. Everyone should resolve matters amicably. Why push to the point where the Yi Group's assets are mortgaged and the matter is settled harshly? Mr. Song, I believe you're a smart person. You understand the implications. Think carefully. If this drags on, the Yi Group will become worthless, and we'll achieve our goals at a minimal cost, Nengong Han said, placing his teacup down and standing up. We'll take our leave now. As Nengong Han was about to leave, Song Yun smiled and gestured for him to sit down. Don't rush, stay a bit longer. Father-in-law, how much does the Yi Group need to overcome this crisis? Yi father, uncertain of his son-in-law's intentions, thought for a moment and said, about 50 billion. Wow. So if we sell the Yi Group, we'd still make a profit of 10 billion, Song Yun feigned surprise. Exactly. So Mr. Song, you should advise your father-in-law to take the money and enjoy his retirement. Why get involved in this mess? Zhuang Xiheng added. Song Yun looked at the two men before him, wagged his finger and said disdainfully, I thought the Yi Group had a bigger deficit. Just 50 billion? I'll cover that. Nengong Han was taken aback. You'll cover it? Aside from Shanshui Group, you only have Tianyu. As far as I know, Tianyu doesn't have that much cash, Nangong Han said. He was right, this kind of money wasn't something just anyone could come up with. Even the Nangong family took 3 days to gather it. Yi father looked at Song Yun with warmth in his eyes. No matter the outcome, he hadn't misjudged his son-in-law. This matter had been a headache for him. The Zhao and Ouyang families could only offer some other conveniences. Financial transactions, if discovered, would reveal their alliance, and the Nangong family would retract their moves, wasting all their efforts. So Yi father had been scrambling to pool resources. But there were few in China who could produce such large funds at once, no more than 30 people, and none would risk offending the thriving Nangong family for the Yi Group. Xiao Song, I appreciate your sentiment, but putting all your money into the Yi Group is unwise. Let's discuss this further, Yi father said. Nangong Han knocked on the table. Is a few hundred billion something you can casually gather? Mr. Song, if you say you'll sell Tianyu to save the Yi Group, I would respect you as a man. Seeing the undisguised contempt from Zhuang Xihing and Nangong Han, Song Yun took out his phone and called the general manager of Daxia Airlines. Mr. Song, have you landed yet? Any new instructions? Jiao Ming asked respectfully. How much spare cash does the company have now? Jiao Ming was taken aback, wondering if this was an audit. He quickly pulled up the latest financial report and cautiously said, we have a total of 120 billion. After deducting the next quarter's operating expenses, about 80 billion is available. Hearing this, Nangong Han's smile faded. He recognized the voice. Who was Song Yun calling? He quickly searched his memory, and his eyes widened in realization. It was Jiao Ming, the general manager of Daxia Airlines. Coordinate with the Yi Group and transfer 50 billion yuan to them. Jiao Ming was stunned by Song Yun's words. 50 billion was no small sum, and with so many scams online he needed to be cautious. How could he be sure that the person on the other end of the line was truly Song Yun? Mr. Song, for security reasons, can we do a video call? Jiao Ming asked. Sure, add me on WeChat, Song Yun replied. A moment later, Jiao Ming sent a friend request, and Song Yun quickly initiated a video call. Is this proof enough? Song Yun asked. Yes, it is. Please give me the contact details for someone in charge at the Yi Group, and I'll handle the transfer immediately, Jiao Ming responded. With just a few words, the two finalized the transaction. Nangong Han, watching from the side, was utterly shocked. Holy crap, Song Yun is the owner behind Daxia Airlines? This is unbelievable. His grip on his teacup tightened, and he nearly crushed it in frustration. It seems their investigation into Song Yun was inadequate. They had assumed he was merely a lucky guy who hitched his fortunes to the Yi family. But now it was clear it was the Yi family that had gotten lucky. Dad, I'll give you Jiao Ming's contact number. Call him directly, Song Yun said nonchalantly. After all, they were family. He had more money than he could spend, and since Yi Qingqing was an only child, in the end, everything the Yi family had would be his anyway. Investing in himself wasn't a loss. Good, Yi father said excitedly. This son-in-law was perfect in every way, capable, upright. He felt like the protagonist of a novel, blessed by fortune. But after his excitement, Yi father started to ponder. 50 billion was a massive amount. Even at the height of the Yi Group's success, their liquid assets never reached such heights. Now, his son-in-law was offering it without hesitation. Would it be too shameless to just accept it? Zhao Yun, how about this? I'll exchange 51% of Yi Group's shares for the money. This way, you'll become the majority shareholder, Yi father suggested, smiling. He never doubted that Song Yun would use his newfound control to push him out. He believed he had a good eye for people, and gifting these shares to his son-in-law seemed the best option. Hearing this, Nangong Han's eyes nearly popped out of his head. He cursed internally, old man, you're giving away 51% of the controlling shares. How is that different from handing the company to Song Yun? Aren't you afraid he'll take over completely? Zhuang Xiheng was equally stunned. Old Yi, don't forget the lessons of the past, he started. Shut up, Yi father glared at him. After I die, won't everything still belong to my daughter and son-in-law? Zhuang Xiheng, you're too naive to try to sow discord between us. Zhuang Xiheng was at a loss for words. This was a family matter after all. Even if Song Yun were the worst, it didn't concern him. But he couldn't help feeling envious. Why did Yi father get such a good son-in-law, while his own son-in-law needed constant support? Dad, isn't this a bit too hasty? Song Yun asked, feeling dazed. This was the Yi Group, the top company in Shanghai, and one of the top 20 nationwide. Taking over such a behemoth meant he would effectively become the new richest man in Shanghai. Song Yun, I trusted you with my daughter, and now I trust you with the Yi group. Look me in the eyes, would you ever do anything dishonorable? Yi father asked. Song Yun shook his head. That's settled then. There's no need for formalities between us. Old Fan, draft a stock transfer agreement, Yi father ordered his assistant. Why don't the two of you wait a moment to witness this? Yi father suggested to Zhuang Xiheng and Nangong Han, hitting them where it hurt. Nangong Han's face darkened with rage. They had never anticipated that Song Yun would turn out to be such an unexpected variable. Fan Yiru quickly prepared the contract. Yi father signed it cheerfully, knowing that while Song Yun would become the largest shareholder, he was still his son-in-law, making Yi Group's operations effectively still within the family. After signing, Yi father handed the contract to Song Yun. Shouldn't I discuss this with King first? Song Yun hesitated. Men's business is no place for girls. Sign it now, Yi father insisted. Song Yun had no choice but to sign his name on the contract. Nangong Han fumed internally. If you don't want it, give it to me. I'll take it all. This is what it means to have family support. Why don't I have such a good father-in-law? Frustrated, Nangong Han gritted his teeth. With the contract signed, Yi father handed one copy to Song Yun. This move made Nangong Han unable to sit still any longer. He thought that with the backing of the Nangong family he could stir things up in Shanghai. But now it was clear he had been too naive. I have other matters to attend to. Goodbye. Nangong Han stood up and walked out with a gloomy face. Zhuang Xiheng, silent and thoughtful, followed him out. In the luxury car outside the Yi family home, Nangong Han took a deep breath, trying to suppress his anger. Start the full-scale takeover of the Yi group now. Let's see how long his money lasts. Song Yun. Zhuang Xiheng began, but Nangong Han cut him off sharply. Don't mention his name in front of me again, Nangong Han snapped. Stunned by Nangong Han's sudden outburst, Zhuang Xiheng was taken aback. This wasn't the courteous air from a few days ago. Perhaps realizing his loss of composure, Nangong Han pursed his lips and called his father, asking to use the Nangong family's resources to investigate Song Yun thoroughly. Uncle Zhuang, the Yi group is now an obstacle on our path. I hope you handle this actively. Otherwise, I might retreat to the capital in disgrace. But the Zhuang family. Nangong Han's implications were clear, making Zhuang Xiheng wary. He had boarded the Nangong family ship for better development, and failure meant he couldn't stay in Shanghai. The transfer of Yi Group's shares caused a huge stir in Shanghai. No one expected such an established company to sell 51% of its shares, which was effectively handing over control. But when they found out that the new owner was Song Yun, everyone calmed down. They joked that it was like moving money from one pocket to another since Song Yun was family. What people were most curious about now was Song Yun's net worth. China's rich list soon followed, estimating Song Yun's wealth and confirming that he was now the richest man in Shanghai. People were impressed by Yi father's foresight in his youth, and his good fortune to have a capable son-in-law to take over in his middle age. They lamented, why couldn't our daughters find such a good husband? At the Yi family home, Song Yun and Yi Qingqing discussed the recent events. Contrary to expectations, Yi Qingqing wasn't upset, she was excited. She jumped onto Song Yun's back, exclaiming, honey, you're amazing. You're not mad that I exchanged money for shares? Of course not, Yi Qingqing said, kissing him on the cheek. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You didn't lend Dad 50 billion with the intention of profiting, and Dad didn't take advantage of you. Isn't that a testament to human decency? Do you really think that? Yes. Unlike some people who neglect their own family for their parents, I believe that once married, our priority should be our own family. Helping my parents is important, but not for free. Song Yun laughed. Aren't you afraid your parents will hear this and get mad? I'm not afraid. My husband is now the richest man in Shanghai, and I'm the richest man's wife. They playfully bickered for a while before heading downstairs for dinner. After dinner, Song Yun and Yi Qingqing planned to return to their villa in Huashu. Their other villa in Junel was still being renovated, and would be ready after Song Yun's father returned for their wedding ceremony. Mr. Song, I heard from the Yi family that you're now the richest man in Shanghai. Huang Baoting asked from the driver's seat, still in shock at how quickly Song Yun's status had risen in just an afternoon. Rich or not, I still have to eat, sleep, and go to the bathroom, Song Yun joked. He wasn't too concerned about his new status. After Yi father learned about Song Yun's rapid rise on the wealth list, they had a long discussion in the study. I want to expand your security detail. What do you think? Huang Baoting finally voiced his concern after thinking about it for a long time. He was scared, constantly vigilant while driving, worried that something might happen. Do I really need that many people around me? Yes, you do, Huang Baoting insisted. You may be kind-hearted, But not everyone is like you. Many would take desperate measures for money. He's right, honey. Dad always has 4 or 5 bodyguards with him, plus Uncle too in disguise watching for threats. Even with that, Dad's had several dangerous encounters. King's words made Song Yun ponder. While he could protect himself, what about those around him? They were just ordinary people. If they were harmed due to his negligence, he'd regret it forever. Okay, Huang. I'll leave this to you. We can offer higher salaries than the market, but I need absolute loyalty. Huang Baoding was thrilled. His comrades were all reliable, but they hadn't had the best luck since returning home. Solving Song Yun's security issue and helping his brothers find employment was a win-win. Don't worry, Mr. Song. The people I recruit will be trustworthy, Huang Baoding assured. Just then, they encountered a traffic jam. The road ahead was blocked by a crowd. Huang Baoding immediately became alert, pulling the car over and advising, "Stay in the car and lock the doors. I'll check it out. Don't open the door unless I return." He carefully exited the car, only proceeding after hearing the doors lock. About 10 minutes later, Huang Baoding returned, knocking on the window. "Mr. Song, an old man was hit by a car up ahead. It's causing a hold-up and might take a while to clear." Song Yun unlocked the door, and Huang Baoding got back in. "If we take a detour, it'll take over an hour. I suggest we wait. The situation might resolve soon." Song Yun nodded and asked, "Is anyone injured?" "No major injuries. An old man carrying a sack of plastic bottles got hit by a luxury car. He seems disoriented, and the car owner is frustrated about the damage." As they chatted, traffic police arrived to manage the situation, and the cars slowly started moving. As they passed the scene, Song Yun glanced at the old man sitting on the ground and suddenly stopped the car. He hurriedly got out and ran toward the old man. Huang Baoding, alarmed, quickly followed, keeping a vigilant eye on the crowd. The area was cordoned off by traffic police. The luxury car owner stood by his vehicle, sighing in frustration. His new car, less than a month old, was now damaged, and the old man who caused the accident seemed to be mentally impaired. "Old man, stop playing the victim. Contact your family to discuss compensation. I'm telling you, this won't settle for less than 50,000. The car owner lightly kicked the old man, his tone annoyed. But the old man just stared, trembling. "Are you deaf? I'm talking to you. Stop that." Song Yun hurried over, squatting down to examine the old man. He felt a sense of familiarity, as if he knew this elder, but with dirt on the man's face, it was hard to recognize him immediately. "Do you know him?" the luxury car owner asked skeptically. "Let me give you some advice, kid. Don't just jump into things. See my car. The repair costs alone will be at least 50,000 yuan. You'll get your money," Song Yun replied. "Hey, what's with that attitude? If you're so capable, transfer the money to me now. Talking big doesn't count for anything. I've seen people who brag more than you, and they all ended up groveling like cowards," the car owner retorted, stepping forward to push Song Yun. But Huang Baoding arrived just in time and grabbed his hand. "Ouch. Ouch. What are you, bandits? So rough?" the car owner yelped in pain. "Don't touch him, or I'll assume you have bad intentions," Huang Baoding said coldly. "As for the money, our Mr. Song said you'll get every penny. Now, stay put and be quiet." Huang Baoding released the car owner's hand. The car owner, still rubbing his wrist, wanted to say something but shut up after seeing Huang Baoding's muscular build. "Old man? What's your name?" Song Yun asked gently. The old man responded with incomprehensible mumbling and gestures. "Don't worry, just nod or shake your head to answer my questions." "Okay," Song Yun continued kindly. "Do you have family here in Shanghai?" The old man thought for a moment, and then nodded vigorously. "Are you from Shanghai?" The old man shook his head. Song Yun was puzzled. If this elder wasn't from Shanghai, was he mistaken about recognizing him? "Do you have a contact number for your family?" The old man nodded instinctively, then quickly shook his head, clearly frightened by the car owner's demands earlier. "Don't be afraid. I said I'd handle everything today. I'll cover any compensation needed," Song Yun reassured him with a smile. "Can you give me your family's contact information? You can't spend the night under a bridge." The old man frantically waved his hands, indicating he knew nothing. Seeing no other option, Song Yun took out a bank card and handed it to Huang Baoding. "Withdraw 50,000 yuan. Huang Baoding hesitated. "Mr. Song, what if I leave and—" "Don't worry, I can handle myself," Song Yun assured. Realizing Song Yun wouldn't leave until the issue was resolved, Huang Baoding quickly ran to a nearby ATM. About 5 minutes later, he returned with 50,000 yuan in cash. "Old man, Here's the compensation money, Song Yun said, placing the cash in the old man's hands. Today's incident was caused by you running a red light, so it's fair to pay some compensation. But if that driver hadn't braked in time, you'd be in the hospital now. The old man, bewildered by the stacks of cash, didn't know what to do. After a moment, he stood up and bowed to Song Yun before carefully handing the money to the car owner. Old man, be careful crossing the street next time. You were lucky someone helped you today. What about next time? I nearly had a heart attack, the car owner grumbled. The old man nodded meekly, like a student being scolded. Take the money and leave, Song Yun said coolly. If you keep complaining, I'll have a doctor check on you. The car owner fell silent, quickly explaining the situation to the traffic police before driving away. The onlookers admired Song Yun for stepping in to help. In today's society, not many people are willing to help others, especially someone as poor-looking as the old man. The girls in the crowd were particularly impressed. Oh my God! What a godly man! He's handsome, kind, and rich. They nudged each other, wanting to ask for Song Yun's contact information, but were deterred by Huang Baoting's imposing presence. It was clear that Song Yun wasn't an ordinary person, and they felt they couldn't measure up to him. Song Yun guided the old man to the side of the road and asked, "Can you now give me your family's contact information?" The old man thought for a moment, then pulled out a piece of paper from his pocket. When Song Yun dialed the number, he realized it was in his contacts his old university friend, Yezi. When Yezi answered, he sounded confused. "Song, what's up?" "Brother, I think I've found your grandfather." What? Yezi was shocked. "My grandpa's back home. He couldn't have traveled all the way to Shanghai. Are you sure it's not a scam?" "Just listen. I found an old man involved in an accident, and he gave me your number. Do you think it's real?" "Whoa. Is my grandpa okay?" "Just a few scratches. Come over to my place." "We're at Huashu Villa," Song Yun replied. He remembered now why the old man looked familiar. During their university days, Yezi's grandfather had visited Shanghai, bringing local specialties in a sack. The whole dorm had treated the old man to a meal. But how had the old man traveled all the way from Hebei to Shanghai, and why was he scavenging? Song Yun planned to ask Yezi about all this when he arrived. "Old man, do you remember me? I'm your grandson's university friend. We had a meal together a few years ago," Song Yun said to the old man. The old man's eyes lit up as he excitedly spoke in dialect. Song Yun couldn't understand, but smiled. "I've contacted Yezi. Come home with me, and he'll meet us there." The old man nodded and followed Song Yun. He hesitated upon seeing the car, aware of its high value despite his illiteracy and ragged clothes, not wanting to dirty it. "Get in the car, Grandpa," Song Yun said, standing by the car door. But the old man shook his head, backing away and pointing to his dirty clothes, speaking in a thick rural accent. "It's fine. The car needed a wash anyway," Song Yun reassured him. Without further ado, he gently but firmly guided the old man into the back seat. Yi King, sitting in the back, looked curiously at Song Yun and the old man. "Who's this?" "This is Yezi's grandpa. Somehow he ended up here in Shanghai," Song Yun explained. "He brought us a lot of delicious food back in college. Our entire dorm still remembers those treats." "Hello," Yi King greeted with a smile, nodding at the old man. The old man, blushing and a bit embarrassed, nodded back. He had lived his whole life in a mountain village, and had only come to the city once to check on his grandson. He had never seen such a beautiful woman like Yi King before. The car drove towards Huashu Villa. When they arrived, Song Yun led the old man into the living room. The old man looked around in awe. This was no ordinary house, it was luxurious. He had heard from the villagers that the town's housing prices were soaring. This house must be worth even more. Feeling out of place, the old man stood awkwardly, afraid of dirtying or breaking anything. "Please have a seat, Grandpa. I'll make some tea," Song Yun said, guiding the old man to the sofa. He took out a box of premium tea leaves from his father-in-law's collection and started brewing a pot. Soon, the room was filled with a fragrant tea aroma. "Mr. Song, if nothing else, staying here for a few years will definitely make me gain weight," Huang Baoting joked, taking a whiff of the tea. "This is top-quality Longjing tea. It must be expensive." "It's just tea. How expensive can it be?" Song Yun replied nonchalantly. He didn't actually know the tea's value, but Huang Baoting did. This tea cake was worth at least 300,000 yuan. The fact that Song Yun used it to entertain guests showed he didn't consider Huang an outsider. As they sipped tea and chatted, someone started banging on the door. Huang Baoting gestured for Song Yun to stay seated and quietly approached the door. Through the peephole, he saw a man with an anxious expression. He opened the door slightly, and the man tried to push his way in. Who are you? Huang Baoting demanded. Who are you? I'm looking for Song, the man outside retorted, startled by Huang's presence and wondering if he had the wrong house. You're looking for Mr. Song? Come in. Once inside, Yezi immediately spotted the old man sitting on the sofa and rushed over to check on him. Seeing only minor scrapes on his arm and leg, which had been treated, Yezi finally relaxed. Sorry to trouble you, Song. I didn't mean to disturb you so late, Yezi said apologetically. Cut the crap, Song Yun snapped. Ask your grandpa why he came all the way to Shanghai. When I found him, he was carrying a sack of plastic bottles. Yezi nodded, then started talking to the old man in their hometown dialect. As the old man spoke, Yezi's expression grew darker. Finally he clenched his fists, his teeth grinding in anger. What's wrong? Song Yun asked. Those bastards, Yezi cursed. Our home is in a remote village, but it's being developed into a tourist area. Some local thugs found out and started buying up villagers' houses for dirt cheap prices. When my dad refused to sell, they beat him up and sent him to the hospital. They even kicked my grandpa out of our ancestral home. Grandpa tried to call me, but I thought it was a telemarketer and hung up. So, he bought a train ticket to Shanghai. And when he got here, he didn't know where you lived, so he wandered the streets looking for you, Song Yun asked. Yezi nodded, feeling guilty. If he had answered the call, his grandpa wouldn't have had to suffer so much. All right, find a room and stay with your grandpa tonight. Get all the details and I'll see how I can help, Song Yun said, comforting Yezi. Yezi nodded silently and led his grandpa upstairs. How are you going to help Yezi's family? Yi King asked as they returned to their bedroom, lying on Song Yun's chest. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out tomorrow, Song Yun replied, holding Yi King as they drifted into sleep. Meanwhile, at the Zhuang household, Nangong Han received a call from his father. Han, don't mess with Song Yun. He's not simple, his father warned, catching Nangong Han off guard. What happened? Father, Nangong Han asked, lighting a cigarette. I used all our connections to investigate him, but we found nothing. Then, I got a call from a powerful figure warning us to stop. Nangong Han was silent. Someone who could hide their identity so well was no ordinary businessman. Even when he investigated Yi's father, the former richest man in Shanghai, it was easy. Could it be that Song Yun had a powerful backer? If so, this backer must be as formidable as the Nangong family. After hanging up, Nangong Han sat in thought for a long time. His mission in Shanghai was to establish a solid foundation, but his arrogance had made an enemy of Song Yun. Reconciliation seemed impossible, but with the Nangong family already clashing with the Zhao family, he couldn't afford a new enemy. Nangong Han sighed. I guess I have to let it go. He decided to avoid further conflict with Song Yun, but still needed to find a way to ease tensions. The next morning, after taking a shower, Nangong Han put on a formal suit and prepared to visit the Yi family. Zhuang Siheng was surprised by the news. Had Nangong Han thought of a new strategy overnight? Young Master Nangong, could you give me a hint? So I can cooperate with you, Zhuang Siheng asked. Nangong Han gave him a cold look. All right, when we meet Yi father, just kneel. Zhuang Siheng's mouth dropped open. Are you joking? Do I look like I'm joking? Nangong Han's gaze was stern. I'm going to apologize to Mr. Song. The Nangong family doesn't need more enemies. If you kneel before Yi father, you'll be doing the Nangong family a great service. Nangong Han's words left Zhuang Siheng stunned. He couldn't understand how Nangong Han, who wanted to deal with Song Yun just yesterday, could now be admitting fault so easily today. Does this mean I have no chance of becoming the richest man in Madu? Nangong, young master, based on my understanding of that old man from the Yi family, he holds grudges. If we show weakness, he'll come back at us like a mad dog. All our efforts will be in vain. Zhuang Siheng was unwilling to give up. After all, Nangong Han, as the eldest grandson of the Nangong family, had such a noble status. How could he be so scared upon entering Madu? Master Zhuang, are you questioning the Nangong family's decision? Nangong Han said coldly. This decision was made by my father himself. Shall I book you a ticket to Beijing so you can ask him in person? Zhuang Siheng broke into a cold sweat upon hearing this. He lowered his head, his eyes filled with complexity. After breakfast, Nangong Han ignored Zhuang Siheng and instructed the driver he brought from Beijing to head to the Yi family. Upon arrival, Nangong Han rang the doorbell of the Yi family's residence. Coming. The butler opened the door, and his face immediately darkened upon seeing Nangong Han. With a cold expression he asked, Young Master Nangong, what brings you to the Yi family? Please inform Uncle Yi that Nangong Han has important matters to discuss, Nangong Han said politely. I'm sorry, young Master Nangong, but my master went out to sea fishing last night. I don't know when he'll be back. Please come again. The butler essentially issued an eviction notice. Nangong Han could only nod helplessly and said, "When Uncle Yi returns, please inform him that the Nangong family does not wish to be enemies with Mr. Song and ask him to send a reply." Nangong Han was also harboring a lot of frustration. Though Song Yun was formidable, the Nangong family was no pushover either. It would be best if Song Yun accepted the olive branch, otherwise, an escalation would be difficult for all parties. Nangong Han left with the driver. Meanwhile, Song Yun and his companions were having breakfast at Huashu Villa. Yazi recounted everything that had happened back home to Song Yun, which was similar to what he had said the previous night. Song Yun ate, while thinking about how to help his brother. After breakfast they moved to the living room. Song Yun took a sip of tea and asked calmly, "Yazi, I don't know anyone in your hometown, but I can use other connections. Ask your grandfather how he wants to handle this." Song Yun was referring to the Yuyang family, a powerful and influential clan. Even a minor figure from the Yuyang family could easily suppress the local bullies. "Grandpa?" Grandpa Yezi nudged his grandfather, who reflexively gasped and then covered his mouth, looking at his grandson in a daze. "Grandpa, did you get hurt by a car last night, and didn't tell us?" Song Yun asked kindly. The old man shook his head without speaking. "Yezi, did Grandpa have any wounds on him last night?" Yezi, looking embarrassed, said, "My grandpa doesn't sleep well with others in the same bed, so I slept on the sofa." "Fool. There are so many rooms, and you chose the sofa," Song Yun scolded, then reached out to squeeze the old man's shoulder. Before the old man could react, Song Yun had already touched him, and the old man let out a muffled grunt. Song Yun's brow furrowed. The old man's thin frame allowed him to feel the bones directly, and it seemed there was a fracture. Song Yun moved behind the old man and pressed on the other shoulder, which elicited no reaction, but the old man still suppressed his voice, his face turning red. "There was a problem." "Grandpa, what's wrong with you?" Song Yun asked. He couldn't understand why the old man would hide his injuries. If not treated promptly, the consequences could be severe. "Brother Song, did my grandpa really get hit by a car?" Yeezy asked anxiously. Song Yun shook his head, wanting the old man to take off his clothes for a checkup, but the old man refused. Yeezy was pacing with worry, but the old man clung to his clothes, afraid of revealing the secret. "Grandpa, if there's an issue we need to treat it early. If it drags on, it won't be just a matter of a few hundred yuan. It could be thousands, even tens of thousands." Yeezy tried to scare his grandpa with money. The old man hesitated at the mention of such sums, and his determined look started to waver. Finally, under Yeezy's persistent coaxing, the old man asked Yi Qingqing to go back to her room, and then took off his shirt. The old man's dry skin was covered in wrinkles, making him look particularly aged. But the most striking thing was the bruises on his skin. There were 7 or 8 purple marks on his back alone. Huang Baoding took one look and knew they were from being whipped with branches and belts. "Grandpa, what happened?" Yeezy's lips trembled, his mind blank. Just one look and he could imagine the abuse his grandpa had suffered. But the old man just smiled, patted his grandson's head, and spoke in his native dialect, saying it was nothing. Yeezy wept bitterly. This strong man knelt on the ground, crying uncontrollably. His parents had gone to farm work when he was young, so he was raised by his grandparents. When his grandmother fell ill and died during his college entrance exams, his grandfather hid the news so he wouldn't be distracted. Later, Yeezy learned from his father that his grandpa had apologized all night to his wife's coffin, saying it was his fault for not letting their grandson come back. He believed this critical time would change his grandson's life, and she wouldn't want him to return either. Knowing his grandfather had been holding this guilt for years, Yeezy felt terrible. Each time he visited his grandmother's grave, his grandpa would always be the last to leave, feeling he'd wronged his wife by not letting their grandson say goodbye. Yeezy had split his earnings in Madu into 2 parts, one for himself and one for his grandpa. But now, seeing his grandpa hurt so badly yet still comforting him, Yeezy felt utterly ashamed. "Grandpa, don't worry. I'm capable, and I'll handle this for you." Maybe it was Song Yun's display of wealth that the old man had never seen. After a moment's hesitation, he spoke a few words. Upon hearing them, Yeezy punched the ground, his eyes red with rage, and said, "Brother Song, it's those bastards from the village. To prevent my grandpa from causing trouble during the crucial demolition period, they locked him up. It was only because a kind villager couldn't bear it and let my grandpa go that he came to Madu to find me. Damn it. Those bastards. I'll tear them apart." Song Yun silently placed his hand on Yeezy's shoulder. He understood that any attempts to console his brother at this moment would be futile. If he were in Yezi's position, he would already be clenching his fists, ready to confront the culprits. After more than 10 minutes, Yezi gradually calmed down. He wiped the tears from his face and said bitterly, "Brother Song, you don't need to trouble yourself with this. I'll go back with my grandpa today. I want to see what kind of scum they are." "Bullshit. Do you consider me your brother or not?" Song Yun snapped, frowning. "Do you think you can handle a group of people alone? Despite your size, you might not even be as strong as your grandpa. Listen to your brother, leave this matter to me. I promise you'll be satisfied with the outcome." Yezi thought for a moment, realizing the truth in Song Yun's words. What could he do alone? Reason with them. If reasoning worked, would his grandpa have been bullied? Fight them? They were many, and if something happened to him, his grandpa would be even more heartbroken. Now, he could only rely on Song Yun. He looked at Song Yun with pleading eyes, his meaning clear without words. Song Yun asked Huang Baoding to contact the Yang family to find out what was going on in Yezi's hometown. Huang Baoding nodded solemnly. For such a small matter, he didn't need connections as high as Ouyang Shu or Ouyang Rong. He could use a part of the Ouyang family's information network himself. After about 10 minutes, information from the Ouyang family came in. Song Yun's eyes narrowed slightly as he read it. Yezi's hometown, Daogo village, had a legend from thousands of years ago about a fight between an immortal and a demon. The immortal's dusting blew a crack into the mountain, and gradually people settled there to escape disasters. In the village were two unscrupulous brothers, Tian Chong and Tian Yi, who bullied the weak and did many heinous things. Eventually, the villagers drove them out. The brothers wandered to a town and started working for a local ruffian, who ran a successful building materials business. Over the years, they ingratiated themselves with the boss and gained quite a bit of money. Having become wealthy, they decided to return to Daogo village in a second-hand car they bought. The villagers were shocked to see the brothers return, and in such good condition. The brothers hated the villagers, and their actions were worse than before. They knocked on doors at night to keep everyone awake and uprooted newly planted seedlings. The villagers were afraid to speak out, not knowing the brothers' new status, and had to endure. The brothers became more brazen, and when the village was slated for demolition, they saw a chance to make a fortune. They started buying land at low prices, anticipating hefty relocation compensation. After reading the information, Song Yun decided to go to Daogo village that day. He explained the situation to Yi Qingqing, intending to leave Huang Baoding to protect her, but she sternly refused. After all, this was Madu, and even enemies wouldn't dare go too far. Song Yun was heading to a remote village with poor communication, and if anything happened, she wouldn't want to live anymore. Song Yun kissed Yi Qingqing's forehead and called Jiao Ming to book 4 tickets. Yezi's hometown city had no airport, so they had to fly to the provincial capital and drive for 5 hours. Upon landing, Huang Baoding had already contacted the local Ouyang family and arranged for an imported Land Rover. They drove to Daogo village. After a long journey, they finally arrived at a town dozens of kilometers from the village around 7 in the evening. This town, under a 6th-tier city, had all the necessary facilities, but life was slow. On the streets there were barely any cars worth over 100,000 yuan. Most were minivans and pickups loaded with various materials. Song Yun found a relatively clean-looking inn to rest for the night, planning to visit the village the next day. That evening, Song Yun called Yi Qingqing. When she learned he was confronting the ruffians the next day, she repeatedly reminded him to ensure his safety and handle the matter smoothly. Song Yun cheerfully agreed, and they had a loving conversation before hanging up. Early the next morning, they had breakfast and set off again. After navigating countless bumpy roads, they finally reached Daogo village. The village was small, with about 100 households. Upon entering, Song Yun immediately felt its poverty. The houses were old, few had been renovated, and the villagers wore simple, worn clothes with mud stains from constant labor. When they saw an SUV entering the village, they were surprised. They knew the circumstances of every household, and this luxury car wasn't from the village. The car door opened, and Song Yun and Yezi got out. The villagers widened their eyes at the sight of Yezi. Wasn't this Yezi, who went to college? Now he was doing so well, even driving a luxury car. But they quickly realized something was wrong. If Yezi was doing so well, why were his father and grandpa beaten? So, the car belonged to the man beside him. Looking at Song Yun, handsome and dignified, he must be from a wealthy family. No doubt about it, Yezi had found a powerful ally. Then Huang Baoding parked the car and helped the old man out. The villagers were excited. Old Yi had brought reinforcements. They wanted to ask what was going on but stopped at Huang Baoding's stern face. Song Yun and his group reached Yazi's ancestral home. The gate was old and locked. Huang Baoting broke off a branch and fiddled with the lock until it clicked open. Inside, the house was ransacked, with bedding and mattresses scattered everywhere. Yazi clenched his fists, ready to beat the brothers. The old man showed little reaction, only a dim light in his eyes. He bypassed the mess and found a hidden compartment under his bed. He opened it to reveal an old briefcase, calling Yazi over excitedly and opening it slowly in front of everyone. Inside were stacks of brand new bills, the money Yazi had sent over the years, untouched. Next to these new bills were some old coins, the old man's savings. He carefully pushed the box into Yazi's hands. A piece of paper fell out, which Song Yun picked up. On it, in wobbly handwriting, were the words, "For the kid's wedding." Seeing the words on the note, Yazi couldn't help but cry. He had always thought that the monthly living expenses he sent home were enough for his grandfather to live comfortably. But who knew his grandfather hadn't spent a single penny and had saved it all for Yazi's wedding in Madu? Maybe his family was very ordinary, even poor. But the warmth of his home was something he had never felt in the big city. "Let's clean up the house first. Then we'll go find those Tian brothers." Song Yun picked up a broom from outside and started sweeping up the trash. After half an hour, they were satisfied with the clean house. "Who are you people?" A young man with dyed yellow hair pushed open the door. When he saw the old man, a look of glee appeared on his face. "You old bastard, you dared to come back. Damn it, do you know how long my brothers have been looking for you? My brother Tian said he'd break your legs when he found you, and now you're done for." "So your brother Tian is impressive?" Song Yun asked coldly. Yellow hair proudly raised his thumb. "Everyone knows my brother Tian is now a big boss. Once this area gets developed, we'll be living the high life with him." "Bastard." Yazi couldn't stand it any longer. He clenched his fist and walked towards Yellow Hair. Seeing Yazi's muscles bulge, fear gradually filled Yellow Hair's eyes. He started to back away, stuttering, "Don't come near me. I'm warning you, if you touch me, my brother Tian will kill you." Yazi grabbed Yellow Hair by the collar, glaring into his eyes. "I'll start by taking some interest from you." With that, Yazi punched Yellow Hair in the face, instantly blackening his eye. "Get lost. When I'm done here, I'll have a nice chat with your brother." Yellow Hair fell to the ground and hurriedly scrambled away, holding his head. "He's probably gone to report. Let's just wait here," Song Yun said, stretching lazily, not taking these people seriously. Even if he alone could handle dozens of adults, having Huang Baoting was enough to crush these thugs. Meanwhile, Yellow Hair rushed to the Tian house, where his brother Tian Chong was drinking with a group of people. "Big brother Tian, that old bastard is back," Yellow Hair cried, covering his swollen eye. "He brought some young people with him. Look, one of them did this to my eye. It hurts so much." Oh, Tian Chong slowly wiped his hands on the tablecloth after swallowing a piece of chicken. He stood up and scrutinized Yellow Hair before slapping him hard across the face. "Can't you see I'm busy? You can't even handle a small matter and dare to interrupt my drinking." Tian Chong, a notorious alcoholic, became extremely violent when drunk. He pinned Yellow Hair down and slapped him repeatedly, leaving his face swollen like a pig's head. After standing up, Tian Chong spat on Yellow Hair. "Let's go see where that old bastard found his help." Tian Chong waved his hand, and the group of hooligans grabbed bricks and shovels from around the village, clearly intending to cause trouble. As they approached Yazi's house, one thug who had attended high school in the city pointed at a nearby car and exclaimed, "Holy shit, a Land Rover." To them, a Land Rover was a symbol of status. Anyone driving such a car was a big shot in the county, and these youths dreamed of owning one, even if second-hand. Seeing the car, Tian Chong was stunned. Land Rovers were status symbols among social elites, and he knew there were only two in the entire county, one of which belonged to his boss. Doubts arose in his mind. How could this car be here? Suddenly, a thought struck him. Could this car belong to the help the old man brought? No way. The Yi family had been poor for generations. How could they know such a big shot? Dismissing the thought, he pulled out his phone, pushed through the crowd, and took a selfie with the car, making sure to capture the Land Rover's emblem. "This car is damn impressive. When the village gets redeveloped, I'll get one too." Tian Chong admired the smooth car body enviously. The hooligans, awestruck, touched the car, not caring about the dirt. As they fantasized about owning a luxury car, Song Yun emerged from Yazi's house. Huang Baoting locked the car, the sound pulling the hooligans back to reality. "Are you the ones who hurt Yazi's family?" Song Yun walked up to Tian Chong and said, "You must be Tian Chong." Tian Chong instinctively took a few steps back, fear filling his eyes. How did this young man know him? And that Land Rover belonged to him? Holy crap. Where did the Yi family find this powerful ally? Why didn't they say they had such a strong backing? Tian Chong broke into a sweat, his mind clearing from its earlier drunken state. He knew that anyone who could afford such a luxury car was a significant figure locally. How could he offend such a person? Brother Tian, this guy was obviously brought here by that college student from the Yi family. He doesn't seem local, a lackey whispered in Tian Chong's ear in their hometown dialect. Tian Chong's eyes lit up, his mind racing. The young man's accent had a southern touch, and since he knew the owners of the 2 Land Rovers in the county, it was likely this guy wasn't local. Realizing Song Yun's background, Tian Chong calmed down. In the whole county, everyone knew his boss, Brother Shi, who controlled all business operations. Anyone wanting to open a shop had to consult Brother Shi, who fancied himself the county's big boss. No matter how powerful you were elsewhere, you had to bow to the local bully. Kid, I'm your brother Tian. What's up? Looking for me? Tian Chong, now relaxed, bumped Song Yun's chest with his own, smirking. In his eyes, Song Yun's handsome appearance was useless. Even if he was tough, his group could easily overpower him. As for Song Yun, he seemed like a pampered rich kid, not worth mentioning. At worst, he could flee for a while after the fight, returning quietly once things calmed down. Get lost. Ted? Huang Baoding stood in front of Song Yun and shoved Tian Chong 3 or 4 meters away. The noise outside caught Yezi's attention. He came out, and upon seeing Tian Chong's detestable face, couldn't contain his anger. He rushed at Tian Chong and punched him, knocking him to the ground. Tian Chong, caught off guard, fell and teared up from the pain. Before Yezi could continue, Tian Chong rolled away and slowly got up. Tian Chong was a hardened thug, used to taking hits. He rubbed his stomach, glared viciously at Yezi, and lunged at him. Though strong, Yezi was no match for a street-fighting veteran. He quickly found himself overwhelmed and struggling. Just as Tian Chong's kick was about to land on Yezi, Huang Baoding moved swiftly. No one saw clearly, but in an instant, Tian Chong was sent flying, landing several meters away. Damn! Tian Chong writhed on the ground, howling in pain, feeling like he'd been hit by a train, every bone in his body broken. Huang Baoding coolly surveyed the group of thugs, stretching with disdain. Winning the military tournament, he found dealing with these lowlifes a waste of his skills. Tian Chong's gang was dumbfounded, standing still in shock. They were used to bullying the weak, but faced with real toughness, they were terrified. Shit! Tian Chong struggled to stand, calling over 2 underlings for support. Gasping and enduring the pain, he said, "You won't leave this county today." He then called his boss, Brother Shi. "Boss Shi? I got beaten in Daogu. Bring the boys over quickly." Brother Shi was inspecting new building materials in his warehouse. He had planned to meet with high-level executives from a major city company. Faced with a dilemma, he hesitated: go and risk missing a lucrative opportunity, or stay and risk losing respect among his men. As he pondered, Tian Chong's pleading voice came through the phone again. "Brother Shi, please come quickly. I think my bones are broken. If other bosses find out your men got beaten like this, it'll be your reputation on the line." Brother Shi inhaled sharply. Broken bones? What kind of grudge would lead to such a severe beating? "Wait there. I'll be there in half an hour." Brother Shi hung up, saying, "Keep them in Dao Gao. If they run, I'll take it out on you." With confirmation from his boss, Tian Chong felt his injuries lighten slightly. "I promise. They won't leave my sight." After hanging up, Brother Shi ordered a few underlings, "Gather the men. We're heading to Dao Gao." "Boss, what about the city executives?" "Someone else will handle them. Tian Chong got beaten. I have to go clean up the mess myself," Brother Shi yelled. Once everyone left, Brother Shi lit a cigarette, contemplating. The trip to Dao Gao would take about an hour. Handling the matter would take another 10 minutes at most. He'd be back in an hour and a half. Time was tight but manageable. Meanwhile, Tian Chong sat on a large rock, grinning wickedly. "You're dead. My boss is on his way. Just try messing with me then." Tian Chong, driven mad by the pain, was growing more crazed by the minute. "Not just you. Even that old bastard. I'll cripple him right in front of you, you college brat." Neighbors, watching the commotion, quietly advised Yezi, "Take your grandpa and run. We ordinary folks can't mess with his boss, Brother Shi." It was clear how notorious Brother Shi was locally. "Shut your mouth, or I won't mind shutting it for you," Song Yun said. Fed up with Tian Chong's madness, he grabbed Tian Chong by the throat. Tian Chong didn't expect Song Yun to act, much less have such strength. Within seconds, Tian Chong's face turned red, limbs flailing as he tried to pry Song Yun's fingers off. With a thud, Song Yun flung Tian Chong to the ground. Gasping for air, Tian Chong felt a newfound fear. This young man was even fiercer than the big guy. Crushing you like a bug would just dirty my shoes. I can always change my shoes, but your life. Song Yun left the sentence hanging, his calm tone striking fear into Tian Chong. Tian Chong glared hatefully at Song Yun as he walked back inside. If looks could kill, Song Yun would have died 100 times over. 20 minutes later, 3 vans screeched to a halt. Who beat my men? Step forward. Someone dared to touch my brother here? You're dead. Where are they? I have a drink waiting. The thugs yelled, looking around, and soon Brother Shi emerged. Despite his middle-aged paunch, his bald head and scarred face sent a clear message: don't mess with me. Brother Shi approached Tian Chong, seeing him slumped like a broken doll. His rage flared. Hurting his man was like slapping his own face. In all his years in this county, he'd never been so humiliated. The door of Yazi's house opened, and Song Yun and his 2 companions stepped out. Song Yun gazed at the thugs with their clubs and felt no fear. Brother Shi. Those 3 bastards, Tian Chong weakly pointed. Brother Shi saw Yizi and Huang baiting behind Song Yun and understood. These 2 might intimidate local thugs, but against a seasoned boss like him? Numbers and weapons would prevail. Get them. Brother Shi, a man of few words but swift actions, waved his hand, and his lackeys surged forward. What happened next left him stunned. Song Yun and Huang Baoting, moving like celestial warriors, effortlessly took down the gang with their fists and feet in no time. Song Yun leisurely walked up to Brother Shi and punched him in the stomach. Brother Shi then realized it wasn't that his men were holding back or underestimating the opponent, it was that the opponent was incredibly strong. The pain in his stomach felt like a grinding stone had crushed it, sending waves of agony throughout his body. Brother Shi bent over and vomited everything in his stomach. Is this all you got? Song Yun kicked Brother Shi in the stomach again, lifting him off the ground and slamming him back down, where he lay pale and nearly unable to even cry out in pain. The neighbors who had been watching from the walls now rushed out. They weren't there to kick a man when he was down. After all, their homes were here, and they had to think about possible repercussions once Song Yun and his friends left. Yezi, you should run. You don't understand Brother Shi's power in He County. If you wait any longer, you'll all be in trouble. Listen to me. This Brother Shi is a hardened gangster. A ruthless character who used to lick blood off the blade. If he calls in more people, it won't just be your house. Dalgo village could be destroyed. Yezi, I heard Brother Shi has hundreds of men under him. You might handle a few dozen, but can you fight 100? Your friends look like they're from rich families. Don't drag them into this because of your issues. The neighbors' warnings were filled with fear of Brother Shi's notorious reputation. You. What's your name? Brother Shi, lying on the ground, spat out threats. If you don't kill me today, I'll come back and kill you. My name is Song Yun. Good. Just you wait, I'll call my men to kill you. Still so stubborn. Song Yun stomped on Brother Shi's mouth, knocking him out cold, despite his 10-year reign of terror in He County. Meanwhile, the city executives had arrived. One of Brother Shi's trusted men was personally hosting them at the county's most upscale hotel. The trusted man was anxious, wondering why Brother Shi hadn't returned yet. He couldn't leave the city executives waiting indefinitely. Please wait a moment. Brother Shi had an urgent matter at home. I'll call him to hurry back. Apologizing, the trusted man stepped out, but no one answered Brother Shi's phone. This was strange. Wasn't Brother Shi supposed to be helping Tian Chong? He had taken many men with him. How could there be a problem? As these doubts swirled in his mind, the city executive grew impatient. If Brother Shi is busy, we can reschedule. No, please don't. The trusted man, sweating, forced a smile. Offending this executive would spell disaster for Brother Shi. How about we start dinner, and Brother Shi will be here in half an hour? The executive stared at him, making him increasingly nervous. Finally, the trusted man admitted, I'm sorry actually, one of our men was beaten, and Brother Shi had to help. He thought he'd be back in an hour, but something must have happened. The executive didn't get angry. Despite Brother Shi's flaws, he always settled material accounts last, benefiting the company's finances greatly. He nodded and returned to the private room. In the next half hour, the trusted man called every one of Brother Shi's men. But no one answered. He was on the verge of panic. Did they all die in Daogu? Everyone in He County knew Brother Shi's name. Who would dare provoke him? Half an hour passed, and the executive tapped the table impatiently. Boss, something must have happened to Brother Shi, the trusted man said worriedly. I need to go to Daogu and see what's going on. The executive lit a cigarette, thought for a moment, and said, "Fine, I've been friends with Brother Shi for years. I'll go with you." The trusted man was thrilled. With the executive's support, the trip to Daoguo would be smoother. They set off in Brother Shi's Land Rover. Unsure of Daoguo's current situation, they decided to go in lightly and assess the situation before taking further action. Half an hour later, they arrived at Daoguo village. Finding it deserted in broad daylight was eerie. They drove further, seeing villagers gathered outside a house. The trusted man cleared a path for the executive through the crowd. Seeing Brother Shi still lying on the ground, he rushed over, asking urgently, "Boss, what happened?" Brother Shi was in bad shape, his head spinning, and he whispered, "Call the boys." "Hold on, boss, I'm here with Mr. Qin. With him, you'll be okay." The trusted man cradled Brother Shi, checking his injuries. "Mr. Qin is here." Brother Shi's demeanor changed. Though badly beaten by Song Yun, he had held back enough to avoid serious harm. His frail act was a ruse. He looked up, seeing a man in a suit with gold-rimmed glasses watching from a distance. "Mr. Qin," Brother Shi shouted from the ground. "That bastard over there did this. Help me kill him, and I'll reward you handsomely." Feeling triumphant, Brother Shi knew Mr. Qin's background. It would be nothing for him to deal with that young man. Mr. Qin adjusted his glasses, blinking in disbelief. He removed his glasses, rubbed his eyes, and confirmed it was the newly appointed chairman of his company. After Song Yun successfully took over the shares of the Yi Group from his father-in-law, the group issued a new notice internally and uploaded Song Yun's photo. As the Hebei province branch of the Yi Group, Mr. Qin naturally knew this news. So when he saw Song Yun, he was first surprised, then disbelieving, and finally despairing. But Brother Shi, lying on the ground, didn't see Mr. Qin's panicked expression. He was still thinking about how to deal with Song Yun. In his eyes, Mr. Qin, backed by the resource-rich Yi Group, had power far beyond that of a young man. "Song Yun, right? I'm telling you, nothing you say today will work. You're finished. Do you know who my friend is? A high-ranking official at the Yi Group branch. Ever heard of the Yi Group? The richest company in Madu. You'd better surrender now, or my brother Qian will make sure your whole family pays." Hearing Brother Shi's boasts, the surrounding crowd grew more fearful. They had no idea what the Yi Group was, but anyone backing Brother Shi, who could control everything in Yi County, couldn't be a small fry. As Brother Shi continued to spew insults, Mr. Qian walked over with stiff steps. "Brother Qian, you've got to help me destroy that kid's life." Brother Shi, usually shrewd, was consumed by rage after being beaten by Song Yun. His mind was entirely focused on revenge. Mr. Qian reached Brother Shi and steadied him with one hand, then slapped him hard across the face. Smack. "Brother Qian." Smack. "No, Mr. Qian. Are you?" Smack. Mr. Qian slapped Brother Shi more than 10 times, leaving him dazed and confused. What was happening? Had Mr. Qian lost his mind? Brother Shi had never offended him, always paying handsomely for projects. Why was he turning on him now? "You dare stay seated? Kneel to President Song," Mr. Qian roared. Instinctively, Brother Shi scrambled to his knees in front of Song Yun. "Oh, my back," Brother Shi groaned, collapsing to the ground in pain. Mr. Qian showed no sympathy, dragging Brother Shi up and forcing him to kneel straight. "You insulted President Song 12 times. I'll slap you 12 times. Any objections?" Before Brother Shi could respond, Mr. Qian started slapping him again. "You bastard! You're just a thug. How dare you insult President Song? And you boast about killing him and making his woman serve you. Do you know who Song Yun's wife is? The daughter of the Yi Group." As Mr. Qian berated him, Brother Shi was stunned. Who was this young man? "Mr. Qian, please stop. He'll die if you keep this up." Brother Shi's right-hand man rushed to intervene, distressed at the sight of his boss bleeding. "Get lost." Mr. Qian shoved him aside, then delivered the final slap to Brother Shi before turning to Song Yun, addressing the thugs sternly. "This is President Song, the new chairman of the Yi Group, holding the most shares. The former chairman, Mr. Yi, is his father-in-law." Brother Shi was dumbfounded, staring at Mr. Qian and Song Yun in disbelief. He had thought he was dealing with a small fry. But this was the boss of his boss? The chairman of the Yi Group. Someone he wouldn't dare offend in his wildest dreams was standing here. "Mr. Qian, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I just came because one of my guys called me. President Song didn't reveal his identity. I'm innocent, Mr. Qian. If I had known, I wouldn't have dared lay a finger on him, not even with 1,000 lives." Brother Shi was filled with regret, wishing he could grind Tian Chong to dust. That bastard had not only gotten him beaten but had also offended President Song. Just wait, once President Song leaves, I'll make you pay. Ignoring the drama, Song Yun walked up to Tian Chong, grabbed his collar, and asked, "Tell me, how did you bully the old man? Speak." Seeing Tian Chong remain silent, Song Yun raised an eyebrow and said coldly, "Don't think staying silent will let you escape. I don't know what tools you used, but you used your hands, didn't you?" Hearing this, Tian Chong broke out in a cold sweat. Sensing the severity of the situation, Mr. Qin, a seasoned businessman, pretended to be curious and asked, "President Song, what exactly happened?" Song Yun didn't answer, but Huang Baiding explained everything. After hearing the story, Mr. Qin punched Tian Chong in the stomach and yelled, bullying a defenseless old man. "Don't you know respecting the elderly is a traditional virtue? You're not even fit to be human." Mr. Qin bowed to Song Yun and volunteered, "President Song, I'm Xiao Qin from the Hebei province branch of the Yi Group. Leave this scum to me. I'll ensure you get a satisfactory answer. You shouldn't dirty your hands with this filth." "Don't disappoint me," Song Yun said, releasing Tian Chong. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have bullied the old man. I'm not human. Please forgive me. I'm willing to compensate with all my money." Tian Chong knelt, desperately begging for mercy, realizing his mistake too late. If he had known, he would have treated the Yi family well. Mr. Qin's eyes flashed with cruelty as he signaled to Brother Shi's right-hand man. Understanding immediately, the right-hand man knew they needed to shift all the blame onto Tian Chong to possibly save Brother Shi. "What's your take on Brother Shi?" The right-hand man squatted in front of Tian Chong, gripping his chin. "Brother Shi has always been good to me. Brother, please, for the sake of the times we've shared drinks, plead with Mr. Qin for me." Tian Chong, clutching at his last hope, begged the right-hand man for mercy. "Brother, you made a mistake. Since you say Brother Shi has been good to you, take the fall for him this time." The right-hand man picked up a baseball bat from the ground and, grabbing Tian Chong's hair, dragged him to a large rock. "Brother, what are you doing?" Tian Chong struggled violently, but the right-hand man called out to the thugs, "Hold him down." Two tattooed young men pinned Tian Chong's arms and legs. The right-hand man placed Tian Chong's arm on the rock, and, without hesitation, smashed it with the bat. Crack! The sound of bone breaking was followed by Tian Chong's anguished wails. The right-hand man glanced at Mr. Qin, who did not signal to stop, so he continued. The second blow broke Tian Chong's other arm. The third strike shattered his nose. By the time Song Yun called for a stop, Tian Chong was unrecognizable. "President Song, what about Brother Shi?" Mr. Qin asked obsequiously. Song Yun gave Mr. Qin a cold glance, making him feel as though he were in the depths of winter. It was clear Song Yun had no intention of letting any of the troublemakers off. This decisive attitude made Mr. Qin tremble with fear. He called his right-hand man over and asked seriously, "I know your relationship with Brother Shi is special. Perhaps it's safe to say you're his lover. So let me ask you, if there's a conflict between your career and your lover, what would you do?" The right-hand man's pupils constricted. He understood Mr. Qin's intention. He planned to abandon Brother Shi. "What do you mean? I see you're smart. How about taking over Brother Shi's company?" The right-hand man bit his lip, his demeanor strikingly feminine. After a long moment, he nodded slightly. "It seems that, in the face of profit, no one can remain untainted." Mr. Qin patted the right-hand man on the shoulder. "You know what to do next. Send Brother Shi to prison." The right-hand man agreed and left with Brother Shi. With the countless pieces of dirt he had on Brother Shi, and Mr. Qin's influence, Brother Shi would never see the light of day again. "Xiao Qin, which company is developing this area?" Song Yun's question surprised Mr. Qin, but then he felt a surge of joy. President Song intended to let the matter rest without uprooting everything. "President Song, it's the Yi Group. Then make sure the issue is resolved fairly and openly. Our group isn't short on money, so ensure justice is done. Do you agree?" Mr. Qin nodded fervently, feeling as though he had narrowly escaped death. After everything was settled, Song Yun asked Yezi about his plans. Yezi sighed, unsure of what to do. His parents were still in the hospital, the ancestral home was soon to be demolished, and his grandfather would have no place to stay. He and his girlfriend were renting a small apartment near their university, which was barely enough for them. Hearing this, Song Yun smacked the back of Yezi's head, frowning slightly. "Why didn't you come to me with your problems? Do you think I'm just for show?" "Brother Song, today's incident was already a lot of trouble." Before Yezi could finish, Song Yun interrupted, your small company might close any day. I've always believed in your abilities. Join the Yi group and I'll arrange company housing for you. Song Yun Yezi said, tears welling up again, moved beyond words. Bring your parents to Madu as well. I have a hospital under me that can handle their treatment and rehabilitation. Whether they decide to stay in Madu or return home after the demolition, we'll make sure they're taken care of. Alright, I'll follow your lead, brother. Meanwhile, in Madu, Nangong Han lay in a business club, a beautiful woman in a cheongsam massaging his temples. These past few days, Nangong Han had been extremely irritable. Despite notifying the Yi family days ago, Song Yun had yet to respond. Was he really planning to go head-to-head with him? Damn it. The Nangong family might be tangled with the Zhao family now, but that doesn't mean we're afraid of you. Are you really not going to give the Nangong family any face at all? If it weren't for the fear of putting his father in Beijing in a difficult position, Nangong Han would have already executed a new plan. Young Master Nangong, you seem very stressed lately. You even have a pimple at the corner of your mouth. The woman's touch on Nangong Han's face was tingly and pleasant. Nangong Han grabbed her hand, opening his eyes with displeasure. Do your job, and don't meddle in other matters. Despite being from a prestigious family, Nangong Han didn't indulge in common vices. His lifestyle was extremely disciplined. He wasn't here to vent frustrations but merely to relax. The woman withdrew her hand, silently completing her task. After Nangong Han left, the woman flipped him off behind his back. Hypocrite! If you weren't rich, I wouldn't even bother with you. That afternoon, unable to hold back any longer, Nangong Han went to the Yi family again. He was desperate to know Song Yun's stance, as it would influence his future plans in Madu. If Song Yun wanted to end the conflict, Nangong Han would avoid his business areas. But if Song Yun wanted a fight, he wouldn't back down. The driver parked at the Yi residence again. Knocking on the door. The butler answered once more. Is Mr. Yi back? Has Mr. Song replied. I'm sorry, young Master Nangong, but I still can't reach my master. Perhaps you should wait a little longer. The butler's words made Nangong Han laugh in anger. As the eldest grandson of the Nangong family, when had he ever been treated this way? Wait for what, damn it? If Song Yun wants a fight, then so be it. With a cold face, he returned to the car and ordered the driver to take him to the Zhuang family. Young master, no luck. The driver, a trusted aide of Nangong Han's father, was assigned to assist him. Knowing Nangong Han since childhood, he understood his current state. Don't talk. Just drive. Nangong Han took a deep breath, trying to calm his rage. Although he was usually composed, he was also young and impulsive. He could no longer tolerate the anger within. Even if it led to mutual destruction, he couldn't let Song Yun continue to look down on him. The next day, Song Yun and his team returned to Madu. Yezi went to the hospital to discuss his parents' condition with the hospital director. As for his grandfather, he was temporarily settled in a company apartment provided by the Yi Group. Fortunately, Yezi's girlfriend was very filial and took great care of the old man without any complaints. Song Yun and Huang Baoding returned to the villa. When Song Yun opened the bedroom door, he found his wife still asleep. Feeling playful, Song Yun took a strand of Yi Qingqing's hair and gently tickled her nose with it. Yi Qingqing brushed his hand away irritably, mumbling something unintelligible. You little lazybones. The sun's already up, Song Yun said softly, kissing her cheek. Yi Qingqing murmured, and then suddenly opened her eyes wide in surprise. You're back, honey. Give me a hug. You little lazybones, why aren't you at the company today? Song Yun said, hugging her tightly and laughing. This isn't like our strong, independent woman. Don't say that. Yi Qingqing pouted, snuggling into his chest. There wasn't much to do at the company, so I asked Jasmine to handle the paperwork. I decided to take it easy. So, you're not going to work today either? Nope. Hey, honey. Your father said he's eager to have grandchildren soon. Pervert. In the afternoon, Song Yun and Yi Qingqing emerged from their room and saw Huang Baoding practicing an unfamiliar set of martial arts in the yard. Despite his muscular build, Huang Baoding moved with surprising agility. Brother Huang, come in and have some tea, Song Yun called out. Huang Baoding finished his routine, wiped the sweat from his face, and smiled. President Song, my brothers will arrive tomorrow. I'd like to take half a day off to pick them up. No problem. Song Yun had come to deeply appreciate Huang Baoding's skills, and was curious to meet the brothers he spoke so highly of. As the three chatted in the living room, Song Yun's phone rang. It turned out that the Shan Shui Group's resort in Madu had been shut down due to non-compliance with certain standards and ordered to close for rectification. Song Yun frowned. The Shanshui Group had always adhered to international standards, and the resort, initially intended for private use by shareholders, couldn't possibly fail to meet those standards. He quickly realized someone was sabotaging him, and the only one capable and willing to do so was Nanggong Han. Song Yun's suspicions were correct. The previous afternoon, after returning, Nanggong Han had called his father in Beijing to explain the situation. With his father's approval, he set his plan in motion. You have money, Song Yun? Let's see how you fare when your company's reputation is tarnished repeatedly. With plummeting stock prices and market value, you won't have time to bother me. But Nanggong Han's strategy was far from simple. He had a series of moves planned, just waiting for Song Yun to fall into his trap. Included in his plans were fabricated scandals involving Song Yun's company, and even Xiao Wan. Although he knew Xiao Wan was Song Yun's cousin, what did that matter? The key was that others didn't know. As long as he exploited this, Song Yun would be swarmed by Xiao Wan's fans' backlash. Holding a photo of Xiao Wan and Song Yun together, Nanggong Han smirked. Shanshui Group's major shareholder, Yi Group's chairman, and Daxia Airlines boss, Song Yun, caught in a scandal with a starlet in affair. This scandal would be impossible for Song Yun to clear up in the public's eyes. The plan was in motion. Success or failure hinged on this moment. Meanwhile, outside the set where Xiao Wan was filming in Beijing, Xiao Wan had just finished her shoot when a swarm of reporters rushed at her with microphones of various sizes. Xiao Wan had grown accustomed to such scenes, knowing that as a public figure, she had to deal with the media. She smiled, waiting for their questions. Miss Xiao Wan, is it true you have an inappropriate relationship with the current richest man in Madu, Mr. Song Yun? Miss Xiao Wan, have you been kept by Mr. Song? It's said you were once an unknown extra. How did you become a top star in China so quickly? Mr. Song Yun has a family. Do you feel guilty about being a homewrecker? Miss Xiao Wan, please answer our questions. We have concrete evidence. These reporters were hired by Nanggong Han. Their sole purpose was to provoke Xiao Wan and blow the matter out of proportion, inciting the public against Song Yun. Xiao Wan, nurtured by Tianyu Entertainment, had never faced such aggressive questions. Usually, reporters' questions were mild, partly due to her company's influence and partly due to her rumored powerful backing. But today was different. Flustered, Xiao Wan didn't know how to respond. Your information is wrong. Song Yun is just my cousin. Please don't misinterpret our relationship. But the reporters weren't satisfied. They wanted a scandal. So, they bombarded her with more invasive questions, infuriating Xiao Wan. They were waiting for her to snap. If she dared to lay a finger on them, they'd write headlines like top star assaults reporters on the street. Xiao Wan's manager, experienced in the entertainment industry, knew this was serious. She told Xiao Wan to stop answering questions and instructed the security team to escort her to the car. That afternoon, news about Xiao Wan and Song Yun flooded the entertainment world. Breaking. New star Xiao Wan linked with Madu's richest man. Shocking. Xiao Wan shouts at reporters, claims powerful backing. Social media buzzed with these posts, quickly trending. Netizens, though unfamiliar with Song Yun, recognized Xiao Wan due to Tianyu's promotion. The scandal, hitting her during her rising career, threatened to cut her future short. Netizens were outraged, demanding explanations from Xiao Wan and Tianyu Entertainment. Someone even started a hashtag Xiao Wan, leave the entertainment industry, which quickly spread. Even Nanggong Han hadn't anticipated this move would be so effective. He had intended to smear Song Yun but underestimated the netizens' fervor, which now naturally turned towards Song Yun. This reaction was fueled by Tianyu's earlier portrayal of Xiao Wan as pure and innocent. Learning the opposite incited public anger. The situation is still escalating, and netizens' attitudes towards Xiao Wan are becoming increasingly hostile. What nonsense about being pure and spotless? What nonsense about being the nation's new girl next door? What nonsense about refusing even a kissing scene? It's all lies. How could such a morally corrupt woman even debut? Fortunately, someone uncovered her dark past, otherwise, we would have been deceived for even longer. Xiao Wan was sitting in Tianyu's office, looking at the trending searches online, feeling deeply distressed. She couldn't understand why everyone was suddenly cursing her. Lu Guan had experienced countless storms and wasn't unfamiliar with such situations. Usually, when a star under their banner encountered such issues, the company would first clean up its own act. If they couldn't resolve the matter, they would decisively shelve the star to avoid further trouble. However, today's incident had a complication. Xiao Wan was the boss's sister, and the rumors outside were even targeting this sibling pair. Using common sense, it was impossible, but rumors were spreading in countless versions. President Liu, the people we hired can't out-talk the netizens, said the head of the PR department with a sullen face. People don't care about the truth of the matter, they just need a target for their anger. Unfortunately, Miss Xiao Wan has become that target. Someone must be fanning the flames behind the scenes, the general manager of Tianyu pondered. But Xiao Wan usually goes straight from work to home and never causes trouble. This is really strange. Lu Guan had roughly figured out the truth by now. If it wasn't Xiao Wan's fault, then only one person was left. The boss had been targeted. He immediately called Song Yun to explain the situation. After a moment of silence, Song Yun said, "I understand." Hanging up the phone, Song Yun lit a cigarette and immediately thought of Nangong Han's infuriating face. Nangong Han was bold, not hiding his desire to attack. On the contrary, he wanted Song Yun to discover it quickly and beg for mercy. Nangong Han was ready to mock Song Yun. Song Yun first had his companies jointly issue a statement, but the effect was not ideal, and online criticism continued. Xiao Wan's social media account was taken over by Tianyu's PR department, and after half an hour of editing, a post was published on Weibo. The post clarified that Song Yun was just a cousin, asking everyone not to overthink and avoid being used by malicious people. This post swayed some people. But Nangong Han's paid trolls immediately launched a new wave of attacks. "Cousin?" I laugh. "You were just an extra a few years ago, and suddenly a cousin pops up. Oh, it's not fashionable to recognize godfathers now. Who knows if you're even related? Xiao Wan, are you treating everyone like fools? So many journalists exposed you, can this be fake? Don't let this bad woman fool you. Let's boycott her together." The call for Xiao Wan to leave the entertainment industry resurfaced among netizens. Even Song Yun's visible enterprises were boycotted by netizens. By market close, they had shrunk by 5%. Don't underestimate this 5%, it evaporated at least tens of billions in market value. When the market opens tomorrow, these industries will likely plunge further. "Hey, let's see how you recover." Nangong Han laughed heartily in the villa's living room. He didn't expect the point he least valued was the most serious in the eyes of netizens. "Song Yun, you must be scrambling to handle this, right?" Zhuang Xihing, sitting beside Nangong Han, was also very excited. If Song Yun really reconciled with the Nangong family, he would be in a tough spot in between. But now, everything was great. He could continue dreaming of being the richest man, and in this plan, he might even get a significant share of Song Yun's companies. "It's fantastic. Young Master Nangong, should we buy in after the market opens tomorrow?" Zhuang Xihang asked with a smile. Nangong Han shook his head, a fierce look flashing in his eyes. "Not at the lowest price yet, no rush. I want to make Song Yun suffer a big loss this time." That night, Song Yun's associates gathered at Huashu Villa. Father Yi and his wife hurried back. When they saw their daughter's worried face, they knew the situation was far worse than they imagined. "Xiao Song, Nangong Han came to the Yi family a few days ago wanting a truce. I didn't agree, it's all my fault. If I had held him off first," Father Yi said regretfully. Song Yun shook his head and smiled. "Dad, do you think that scoundrel Nangong Han would really come to beg for peace? He must have been up to something. Otherwise, why would he immediately retaliate after being rejected? Does that look like a peace-seeking attitude? So what do you plan to do? The online situation can't be suppressed for now, and tomorrow morning your companies will. Look, here comes the solution." Song Yun pointed to Huang Baoding, who had just emerged from a room. "Brother Huang, any news from the Yueyang family?" All here. Huang Baoding looked tired. He had contacted the Yueyang family to gather dirt on the Nangong family for a counterattack. Song Yun flipped through the pages. Most were minor issues that couldn't completely divert netizens' attention. At the last page, one piece of information caught his eye. "The Nangong family, you really have guts," Song Yun said coldly. "Daring to secretly collaborate with Hua Xiang? Are you in such a hurry to die?" Hua Xiang. Father Yi's eyes narrowed. The South Korean Hua Xiang supermarket chain. Hua Xiang had around 40 or 50 stores in China and was very popular. Because of this, Hua Xiang's overall market value had increased several times in recent years. However, Hua Xiang, which earned a lot in China, couldn't recognize who the master was. Their CEO publicly insulted China online. This information was spotted by Chinese students abroad and immediately sent back home. In no time, the entire internet was boycotting Hua Xiang. The once profitable supermarkets gradually became deserted. A week after the incident escalated, no customers were left in any store. This directly halved Hua Xiang's market value, and they had to close all stores shamefully. The Nangong family had the nerve to secretly collaborate with Hua Xiang. They changed their marketing strategy, rebranded cosmetics, and sold them in China through Nangong's channels. Brother Huang, I need your help. Tonight you must find all the information about the Nangong family's cooperation with Huajiang. Huang Baoding took out a pack of cigarettes from the cabinet, clearly preparing to stay up all night using the Yuan family's network to investigate. Dad, it's getting late. You and Mom can stay here tonight. By tomorrow, everything will be perfectly resolved, Song Yun said with a smile. I'm looking forward to seeing Nangong Han's expression and how he tries to explain himself. Father Yi nodded, planning to contact the Zhao and Ouyang families tonight to deliver a critical blow to the Nangong family tomorrow. After handling all the tasks, Song Yun instructed Lu Guan to personally escort Xiao Wan to Shanghai and hold a press conference on home ground the next day. Early the next morning, all media outlets in Shanghai received an invitation from Song Yun. They arrived with their cameras, eager to capture the first-hand details about the controversial richest man in Shanghai. At 9 o'clock, the press conference began. Attendees included Song Yun, Yi Qingqing and Xiao Wan. As soon as Song Yun appeared, countless lights focused on him. Reporters from the Nangong family immediately started questioning. Mr. Song, I'm a reporter from Huangjiang News. We all want to know when you and Miss Xiao Wan started your improper relationship. Does Miss Yi know about it? This question was not an inquiry but a statement confirming the online rumors. Before Song Yun could respond, another person stood up and asked, Mr. Song, I see that Miss Yi is also here today. Does this mean you acknowledge Xiao Wan as your mistress? Mr. Song, you already have a family. Why would you still keep a starlet as a mistress? Is it because Miss Yi is too dominant? Mr. Song, is Xiao Wan your only mistress, or are there others we don't know about? The reporters' questions came at Song Yun like a storm. Song Yun remained calm, knowing these reporters were here to throw dirt on him. However, Xiao Wan's face changed. She was new to this and had never faced such a situation before, so she remained silent with her head down. The press conference was live-streamed online, attracting millions of viewers. The reporters' questions are sharp, but I like it. They should dig deep into the truth about these rich people. Wow, I didn't expect Mr. Song to be so handsome. Truly, appearances can be deceiving. Most good-looking guys are scumbags. Didn't you see Yi Qingqing next to Song Yun? She's stunning. Song Yun has such a beautiful wife and still cheats? What a beast. Someone once told me I couldn't imagine the happiness of rich people. I argued back then, but now I see I was wrong. Xiao Wan should leave the entertainment industry and keep it clean. Song Yun should get out of the business world. Authorities must investigate Song Yun thoroughly. Anyone who messes around like that can't be good. Who knows how many dirty deeds his companies have done. +1. Demanding them to leave +1. Plus 10,086. Meanwhile, in the Zhuang family villa in Shanghai, Nangong Han watched the online comments with great interest. Some comments were spontaneous, while others were guided by his subordinates. Regardless, the fire had been lit, and now it was up to Song Yun to decide how much he was willing to sacrifice to put it out. Young Master Nangong, what if Song Yun uses a family register to prove his relationship with Xiao Wan? Zhuang Xiang asked curiously, holding a cup of tea. Truth is not always believed. Do people still trust a liar's words? Zhuang Xiheng gave Nangong Han a thumbs up, acknowledging his cunning. These aristocratic scions were indeed tricky, always plotting. It was fortunate he wasn't Nangong Han's opponent, or he wouldn't know how to handle such a series of attacks. Everyone, please quiet down. Song Yun tapped the microphone and calmly said, regarding the reporter's questions, I can openly state that Xiao Wan is my cousin. Her mother is my aunt. As for the photos circulating online, some are real, and some are doctored. I hope you all won't be blinded by rumors and will think independently. He then took out a family genealogy book, opening it to his father's generation. See? Song Quan is Xiao Wan's mother. I believe you can verify this in no time. Song Yun's sincere tone caused the online viewers to waver. His genuine expression didn't seem fake, and such a matter could easily be verified. Could they have misunderstood? As netizens hesitated, reporters pressed on. Mr. Song, a genealogy book proves nothing. It's just a few names on paper. I could forge one, and as the richest man in Shanghai, so could you. Chairman Song, do you think questioning Xiao Wan's mother will yield the truth? You're all family, and she'd probably cover for you. The reporter's aggressive questions awakened the viewers. Indeed, Song Yun was Shanghai's richest man. Forging a family register would be child's play for him. As for Xiao Wan's mother, any family willing to let their daughter become a mistress can't be trusted. Liar. Even at the brink you still deceive. Song Yun, why don't you just die? Get out, I won't believe a word you say. Song Yun clearly has no better response and can only come up with such a low-level excuse. Don't be fooled, hold on, and we'll win. I can't watch this press conference for another second. I thought Song Yun was going to admit and apologize, but he's still being stubborn. Nanggong Han's subordinates seized the moment, fueling the netizens' anger. Song Yun shook his head and said, "If you think I'm faking it, I'll provide more evidence." He motioned to the backstage, and a man and a woman walked out. Everyone was puzzled. What kind of evidence were these people? But their next words dispelled all doubts. The man took the microphone and said sternly, "Hello everyone. I work for the Shanghai Household Registration Department. I'm here to clarify that Ms. Song Huan is indeed Mr. Song's aunt and Ms. Xiao Wan is his cousin. Please view this matter rationally, and don't let anger cloud your judgment." After speaking, he handed the microphone to the woman. The woman cleared her throat twice and began to speak slowly. "Hello everyone. I am an employee of the Shanghai Notary Office. Today I bring you a kinship certification. After a thorough investigation by our office, it has been confirmed that Ms. Xiao Wan is indeed Mr. Song's cousin. This certification has been notarized and holds legal validity. We welcome public scrutiny." After she finished speaking, she displayed the kinship certification for everyone to see. The reporters immediately signaled the photographers to come forward and take pictures. When they saw the official seal on the certification, they realized everything was true. Given the gravity of the occasion, Song Yun would be taking a huge risk if he had faked it. The reporters sent by Nanggong Han didn't step forward. They stood there in stunned silence. Nobody had told them about this. What were they supposed to do now? Their earlier questions now seemed ridiculous. Was the clown here really me? Song Yun scanned the crowd, clearly pleased with their reactions. This evidence was a result of Father Yi's suggestion from the previous night. It wasn't enough to simply shift public focus to the Nanggong family. Song Yun needed to clear his own name as well. So, early that morning, Song Yun followed Father Yi's advice and had the certifications notarized. Did we misunderstand something? How did things turn around so quickly? I knew it. How could someone as handsome as Mr. Song be a scumbag? You all bullied the wrong person. I feel so bad for Mr. Song. We need to protect the best person in the world. Wow. I think we all owe Mr. Song an apology. Some online viewers fell silent, some started to apologize, while others waited, unsure if there would be another twist. Meanwhile, at the Zhuang family villa in Shanghai, Nanggong Han angrily slammed his fist on the computer. Zhuang Siheng didn't dare to breathe loudly. Who would have thought Song Yun could come up with such a brilliant solution in such a short time? Since his credibility wasn't enough, he brought in government officials. These people represented the face of the nation and wouldn't dare to fake anything. He got lucky this time, but the next part of the plan won't be so easy to counter, Nanggong Han said darkly. Uncle Zhuang, take advantage of the situation before everyone knows the truth. Quickly buy up as many of Song Yun's shares as possible. I look forward to seeing his face in the boardroom. I want to apologize first. Song Yun stood up and bowed. I apologize for taking up public resources due to my personal matters. But this incident was no accident. Someone was fanning the flames behind the scenes. After a night of investigation, we found the source. Song Yun pointed to a screen behind him, where a person's photo appeared. Pointing at the photo, Song Yun said calmly, "This person is the mastermind behind the false accusations against me and my cousin Xiao Wan. His slander caused significant losses to my company and unjustly tarnished Xiao Wan's reputation. Therefore, I have decided to sue him." Chairman Song, what kind of justice are you seeking? A reporter asked curiously. Are you looking for an apology to restore your reputation, or are you seeking financial compensation? I consulted my lawyer, and under fair judgment, this person would face over 10 years in prison and be liable for nearly 10 million in economic damages. After saying this, Song Yun's expression softened into a smile. This incident serves as a warning to everyone. I hope we can all approach future matters with reason. With the situation resolved, a neutral reporter asked, Chairman Song, we have heard that your charity foundation has established over 40 Hope primary schools. Is this true? Song Yun was momentarily stunned. Yi Qingqing quickly took the microphone and said, yes, it's true. The Yi Group has always prioritized charity and established an internal foundation. Over the years we have opened 47 Hope primary schools. As Song Yun's wife, I promise that we will only increase our charity efforts in the future. What a philanthropist. What does 47 Hope primary schools mean? An online standard once mentioned that building one Hope primary school costs at least $1 million. So 47 schools would mean 47 million, not including operating costs. To contribute so much to society, Mr. Song has completely changed their perception of the wealthy. After Yi Qingqing finished, she wrote a word on Song Yun's palm. Dad. Song Yun immediately understood. This was Father Yi's contribution when he was in charge. Now that the Yi group was under his control, this praise became his glory. Song Yun stood up and said seriously, "What my wife said is exactly what I think. I have one principle: if I'm poor, I improve myself; if I'm rich, I help the world. I believe I haven't done enough. I plan to vigorously develop rural education projects this year, aiming to open over 100 Hope primary schools by year's end. I also promise those teachers who go to rural areas that their salaries will increase by 5,000 yuan per month on top of their current wages. This subsidy has no time limit." Song Yun's words left the reporters stunned. Wow! Is this handsome guy a saint? To make such a significant contribution to society. Anyone questioning Mr. Song's character will face a line of people ready to defend him. Chairman Song, on behalf of the children in the mountains who wish to learn, I bow to you. This reporter was a university student from the mountains. He knew how hard it was to study in a remote area. Every year, teachers came but couldn't stay due to the harsh conditions. So, many teachers left, leaving students to rely on their determination and talent. But Mr. Song's actions provided substantial economic support for rural teachers. Song Yun smiled and gestured for silence. This is what I should do. Mr. Song, our Xiaojiang Daily has received news that you plan to open large shopping malls nationwide. Is that true? Song Yun nodded, and the reporter continued, as far as I know, not every mall will be profitable. Our experts estimate that each mall might incur a loss of about 30 million. What motivates you to persist? You are right, but let me correct you. These malls are not just losing 30 million, but 60 million. Song Yun, full of confidence, continued, economic development in some regions is not like Shanghai. Losses are inevitable when opening malls there, but why do I persist? After building the anticipation, Song Yun smiled and said, for the development of the local economy and to create more jobs. Wow! Mr. Song is truly incredible. Who would have thought Mr. Song would be willing to incur losses just to benefit the public? His vision is beyond what ordinary people can imagine. But is this really the case? It is indeed. A joint meeting between the investment departments of the Yi Group and Shanshui Group concluded that the initial investment and subsequent losses would be astronomical. So why does Song Yun stubbornly pursue his plans nationwide? Of course, it's because the system previously stated that for every company established in a new location, he would be rewarded with 100 million in funds. This recoups the initial costs, and with the continuous brand effect, each mall can earn around 60 million annually just from rental and tenant fees. Not only were the online viewers frantically praising Mr. Song, but the reporters on site also stood up and applauded him. Entrepreneurs like Mr. Song are rare. At this moment, Nang Gonghan nearly choked with anger as he watched Song Yun's speech. He envied Song Yun's glory and wondered where all his money came from. Was he not afraid of going bankrupt? As someone who had been in business since childhood, Nang Gonghan knew that what Song Yun said was true. If this plan started, the massive funds required would drag all his companies down. But it was impossible to think Song Yun was just putting on a show. Now that his words were public, everyone would keep a close eye on him. Where did Song Yun's money come from? As Nang Gonghan pondered darkly, Zhuang Xihang approached, phone in hand, looking terrified. Young Master Nang Gong, it's over. Everything is over. What nonsense are you spouting? The final showdown hasn't even started. Already agitated, Nang Gonghan scolded loudly, if you think just rebuilding public image can win the business war, you're too naive. I don't mean that. Zhuang Xiheng, trembling, placed his phone on the table. See for yourself. The Nanggong family is finished. Nang Gonghan glanced at the screen and immediately went cold. Damn. Who's behind this attack on the Nanggong family? He felt a chill run down his spine, breaking out in a cold sweat. The phone displayed information about the Nanggong family's collaboration with Hua Xiang, along with internal documents. This was classified. How did anyone find out? Who's behind this? Nang Gonghan swept everything off the table in a rage, sitting down heavily, eyes filled with hatred. The Nanggong family's cooperation with Hua Xiang was real. Before Hua Xiang's scandal broke, the Nanggong family held 20% of its shares. But these unreliable partners caused their assets to shrink by half. After Hua Xiang faded from the public eye, the Nengong family saw an opportunity. They invested heavily, acquiring 43% of the shares, becoming Hua Xiang's largest shareholder. Under the Nengong family's management, Hua Xiang rebranded and started a cosmetics business, re-entering China and capturing half of the mid to low-end market. These changes brought the Nengong family continuous profits. They thought this could remain hidden forever, but it was exposed today. Who did this? Song Yun? He had just cleared his own name, and now the Nengong family scandal was revealed. If it wasn't Song Yun, Nengong Han would eat his own eyes as a light bulb. Song Yun, you've gone too far. Nengong Han roared with rage, if I catch you, I'll skin you alive. Calming down, Nengong Han quickly called his father. On the other end, his father's voice was weary, clearly struggling to handle the crisis. Not wanting to disturb him further, Nengong Han hung up, eyes cold, planning his next steps against Song Yun. Meanwhile, Song Yun was entertaining all the reporters at a restaurant, surrounded by them for interviews. Mr. Song, it's done. Huang Beiding quickly approached, whispering in Song Yun's ear, the whole city is in an uproar. We don't need to act, the Nengong family's enemies will seize this chance to strike. Song Yun nodded with a smile, continuing to answer the reporters' questions. Sure enough, online, the information had already topped social media headlines. All of the Nengong family's companies issued a joint statement. The online rumors about our cooperation with Hua Xiang are false, spread by malicious individuals. We hope netizens won't believe or spread these rumors. We have contacted law firms and will pursue legal action against anyone defaming our group. After the press conference, Song Yun saw the statement and laughed, still denying it. Brother Huang, release all the data we have. Let everyone see the true face of the Nengong family. Huang Beiding acted quickly. Within 10 minutes, information about Hua Xiang's rebranding, management changes, and shareholder transfers was online. These documents pinned down the Nengong family completely. Under their statement, netizens' comments flooded in, tearing it apart. I can't believe the Nengong family colluded with Hua Xiang. Disgusting. Get lost, you're worse than scum compared to Mr. Song. After such a big scandal, how could the Nengong family dare work with Hua Xiang? Have they been kneeling for so long they can't stand up? Everyone remember. Any company under the Nengong family is trash. Boycott them all. Netizens were furious. Years ago, the Hua Xiang scandal was huge, and now the Nengong family had sided against the public. They were doomed. Within an hour, the Nengong family's reputation plummeted. All their companies' stock values nosedived. And this was during the day. When the scandal about Song Yun broke yesterday, there were less than 2 hours to market close, so the drop was limited. But now there were over 10 hours left before the market closed. The Nengong family panicked, quickly deleting their previous statement and issuing a new one. The new statement essentially said that they hadn't properly investigated the truth of the matter and that they were also victims of deception. They claimed that they only interacted with Hua Xiang after the name change, which misled them. However, do you think netizens are that easy to fool? Of course not. This generation of netizens is one of the most powerful. Once they start investigating the truth of a matter, it means that it definitely won't end quickly. Moreover, the Nengong family had already collaborated with Hua Xiang. Why should we believe what they say now? Nengong family, why won't you give up? Do you think we're idiots who believe everything you say? Just get lost, you're so annoying. Guys, the Nengong family is not only collaborating with Hua Xiang but also insulting our intelligence. Let's go. Boycott all Nengong family companies. The two statements from the Nengong family show no remorse. They're just as good as saying nothing. They should consider hiring a new PR team. I suggest investigating all Nengong family industries to see what other illegal activities they're involved in. +1, +2, +10,086. This apology, which was essentially an attempt to shirk responsibility, not only failed to extinguish the netizens' anger but fueled it even more. Quickly, the market value of Nengong family's companies plummeted, evaporating 35% in just one morning. Due to the Nengong family scandal, many small investors started selling off their shares, causing numerous companies to hit rock bottom. Nengong Han, far away in Shanghai, sat powerless in his chair, dazed. He couldn't understand how Song Yun managed to turn the tide and strike back at the Nengong family in such a short time. Is the Nengong family really finished? Nengong Han, you shouldn't have messed with Mr. Song Zhuang Saiheng, who had lost his respect, said coldly. Now Mr. Song is taking advantage of the plummeting stock prices of your family's companies, buying them up on a large scale. With enough capital, Mr. Song could become the chairman of all your family's companies. Song Yun's actions effectively put an end to this battle. The Zhao and Ouyang families in Beijing were left bewildered. What's going on? We were still entangled with the Nangang family, and suddenly, those companies have all changed owners. Their subordinates discovered it was Song Yun. The Zhao and Ouyang families kept silent. They had a good relationship with Song Yun and didn't want to upset him. Besides, this young man really knew how to seize the moment. Zhuang Xiheng, are you planning to defect to Song Yun now? Nangang Han felt no waves of emotion. Compared to the problems facing the Nangang family, a small betrayal meant nothing. Hey, Nangang Han, you overestimate yourself. I just wanted to make some money by hitching a ride with you. Now that your family has ruined itself, why should I go down with you? Zhuang Xiheng sneered. I'm a realist. I stand with whoever benefits me. If you think the Nangang family will fall just like that, you're underestimating us. Nangang Han stood up, stretching, and said, our family's core is not about making money. These words made Zhuang Xiheng break out in a cold sweat. Even if Song Yun took over all their companies, so what? The Nangang family might be bruised, but their strength within the system remained powerful. Zhuang Xiheng was dumbfounded. Nangang Han smiled, patting Zhuang Xiheng on the shoulder. I hate traitors the most. My usual approach is to clean up internal traitors first before dealing with enemies. Your words just now made me see your true colors. Be wise. With that, he left the Zhuang family's home with his driver. Zhuang Xiheng slumped to the ground. It was over. He thought he could humiliate Nangang Han, venting his anger from the previous treatment. But it made him say things he shouldn't have. The Zhuang family now had no place in Shanghai. Contact my father. No matter what, we must crush Song Yun. If we let him grow, he'll become a deadly dragon that devours the Nangang family. Nangang Han closed his eyes in the car, and the driver asked, young master, aren't we going back to Beijing? I want to see Song Yun's downfall. In Beijing, Ouyang Shu was tending his garden when Ouyang Rong rushed in. Father, we can no longer suppress information about Song Yun. Calm down and speak slowly. Ouyang Shu washed his hands and took the teacup from his son. Song Yun has bought all the Nangang family's companies. Spit take. Ouyang Shu spluttered, not bothering to wipe his beard, staring in shock. All of them. Yes, all of them. Ouyang Rong sighed. Becoming Shanghai's richest man was enough attention, but now all the families in Beijing know that the Nangang family provoked Song Yun, and after his retaliation, their companies changed owners. This kid is no worse than his father, Ouyang Shu said in amazement. Father, is this the time for admiration? Shouldn't we be doing something? Ouyang Rong was anxious, but seeing his father's calm demeanor, he felt like dragging him to Shanghai. With his father around, Song Yun would surely be safe. Since it has come to this, let's accept it. Ouyang Shu waved his fan leisurely. Send Xiao Cheng to Shanghai to meet Song Yun and give the Nangang family a nudge. Really? Do I ever lie? Ouyang Shu glared, and Ouyang Rong, feeling guilty, smiled and started massaging his father's shoulders. Xiao Cheng was Ouyang Shu's secretary, handling official matters. He was considered Ouyang Shu's representative. With him in Shanghai, anyone wanting to harm Song Yun would have to think twice. Moreover, Xiao Cheng was married to the Nangang family's daughter, the sister of the current head. His presence would also mediate the situation with the Nangang family. What about Song Yun's identity? Ouyang Rong asked worriedly. Are you stupid? Ouyang Shu gave his son a peculiar look, wondering if he was truly his. The situation had already escalated. Couldn't he see that sending Xiao Cheng was a protective gesture? Secretary Cheng soon departed for Shanghai on his mission. Upon arrival in Shanghai, his first stop was not to meet Song Yun directly. Instead, he took a taxi to the residence of the top figure in Shanghai. When he knocked on the door, the city's leading figure was surprised to see Secretary Cheng standing there in casual clothes. What's going on? Why is Secretary Cheng here? Could it be that old Master Ouyang is here too? He looked around but saw no one else. Secretary Cheng smiled and said, no need to look around. It's just me today. The man sighed, a bit disappointed. He and Secretary Cheng were old schoolmates and had a good relationship. After inviting Secretary Cheng inside, he asked curiously, what brings you to Shanghai today? Hey, I missed my old friend. Secretary Cheng said, smiling while sipping tea. It's been over 6 months since we last met. Haven't you missed me at all? HMP. When you Cheng Liguo think of someone, it's usually bad news, the man said angrily. Remember that investment project that was supposed to be located in Shanghai? Just because I had a drink with you, I softened and let it go to Beijing. The more I thought about it, the more I felt tricked. Everyone else offers sweet deals, but to me, it's just hard sell and soft no-go. Chang Ligo patted his shoulder, chuckling. This shows that brother Yu is selfless. Nonsense. Yu Ji, I praised you so much, and you're still being difficult? If you can't hold your liquor, don't complain. Today I'm willing to drink with you till we drop. How about it? Yu Ji frowned slightly, displeased. What are you scheming this time? Actually, I'm here with a message from old Master Ouyang. Do you want to hear it? If not, I'll leave right now. Speak. Of course he was interested. Listening to the message didn't stop him from disliking Chang Liguo. Have you heard of Song Yun? Oh, that young guy who's been making waves recently, Yu Ji pondered. Does he have some conflict with the Ouyang family? Not at all. Song Yun is the son of old Master Ouyang's old friend. So, as long as it doesn't break any rules, the old master hopes you can look after him. Wait a moment. Yu Ji called his secretary, asking for a report on all of Song Yun's assets in Shanghai. After about 10 minutes, the secretary reported that everything with Song Yun's companies was in order, paying taxes diligently, and no illegal activities were found. This young man is quite upright. I like him, Yu Ji smiled. Rest assured, we will definitely take good care of conscientious entrepreneurs like Song Yun. That's a relief. He has some irreconcilable conflicts with certain families in Beijing, so please support him. Is it the Nangong family? With the Ouyang family in front, I'm at ease. Hey, I hope so. Chang Liguo knew some things about Song Yun's father, so while the public knew that the Nangong family was an enemy, there might be hidden adversaries. After some more chatting, Chang Liguo left to visit the Yi Group and meet the new rising star of Shanghai. Declining Yu Ji's offer of a car, he took a taxi to the Yi Group. At the reception, Chang Liguo, exuding the demeanor of a scholar, gently requested to see Song Yun. The receptionist, unsure of the middle-aged man's background, called the board secretary. The request went up the chain until it reached Song Yun. Song Yun was in the office with Father Yi, strategizing on how to strike the fallen enemy when he received the call. Someone wanted to see him, and Song Yun was puzzled. Chang Liguo? Never heard of him. Father Yi, reading the reports, suddenly looked up excitedly and grabbed Song Yun's arm. Chang Liguo? The secretary from Beijing? I don't know. Father Yi, exasperated, smacked the back of Song Yun's head. Chang Liguo, secretary to old Master Ouyang. Why would he come to Shanghai? Father Yi pondered. Could it be because you took over all the Nangong family's companies, upsetting the Ouyang family? Unlikely. Old Master Ouyang isn't a petty person, Song Yun shrugged. Speculation won't help. Let's invite him up and ask. Invite him up? We should go down to greet him. Father Yi was speechless. Most people would be eager to meet Secretary Cheng, but his son-in-law acted so nonchalant. Song Yun and Father Yi went to the lobby, spotting a neatly dressed middle-aged man standing straight. Seeing his face, Father Yi was thrilled. He had once had the fortune of dining with Secretary Cheng in Beijing. Secretary Cheng, what brings you to Shanghai today? Father Yi eagerly shook Secretary Cheng's hand. Old Yi, long time no see, Chang Liguo said with a smile. You found yourself a good son-in-law. Even from afar, old Master Ouyang is thinking of him. He then turned to Song Yun. His first impression was that this young man was quite remarkable. There was no flattery in his eyes, just a calm demeanor, treating himself as an ordinary person. This was the kind of person the old master truly valued. Hello, Song Yun. I'm Chang Liguo, secretary to old Master Ouyang. When you visited Beijing, I was out on an inspection. Chang Liguo extended his hand, and Song Yun shook it. The three of them chatted as they walked to the office. Father Yi could tell that Chang Liguo was here specifically for Song Yun, so he excused himself. Song Yun, your situation is a bit dangerous right now. I'm here not to give instructions, but to act as a goodwill ambassador, sending a signal. Chang Liguo sipped his tea. I know the Nangong family well. If they decide to go all out, you alone can't withstand it. So, what should I do? Stay low, and stay even lower, Chang Liguo said seriously. I have some familial ties to the Nangong family. I'm here on the old master's orders to warn them off, so you don't disappear mysteriously. Song Yun looked surprised. Would the Nangong family really do something like that? They wouldn't dare. But there are many families aligned with them who might want you gone. So for now, just focus on integrating the Nangong family companies. Don't go out unnecessarily. There are too many people out there willing to risk everything for wealth, On the other side, Nangong Han had arranged countless tasks today and settled a group of people who had rushed over from Beijing. He now desperately wanted Song Yun to disappear from the world. Most of the companies under the Yuan family were under his name, and this recent turn of events had cost him dearly. Just as Nangong Han was pondering when to make a move, his phone rang. Nangong Han, I heard you got played. Nangong Han didn't even have the energy to argue. He sighed and said, Yi Wenbiao, are you calling to mock me? Ha ha ha. The young master of the Nangong family may lose, but he's never afraid. Yi Wenbiao laughed. I'm already in Shanghai. Aren't you going to host me? Nangong Han was stunned. The Yi family was also a prestigious family in Beijing, ranked in the top 10. Why was the heir of the Yi family reaching out to him now? Brother Yi, if you're here to persuade me to let go of my grudge, then it's better we don't meet. After a moment of silence, Nangong Han spoke. Don't worry. I'm just here to keep you company in your sorrow. Yi Wenbiao said, I've booked a private room at the Shanghai Time Club. Come over now. With that, he hung up. Nangong Han thought for a moment and decided to meet the Yi family heir. Arriving at the club entrance, an assistant brought by Yi Wenbiao personally escorted him to the private room. Pushing open the door, Nangong Han saw Yi Wenbiao, surrounded by 7 or 8 women, all online celebrities and top-tier stars. Let me introduce you all. This is Nangong Han, the heir of the Nangong family. Your job tonight is to keep him company, understand? Don't worry, mister. Yi, we're all professionals. One of the internet celebrities cooed coquettishly. Yi Wenbiao laughed and gave her a playful slap on the butt, saying loudly, whoever gets taken home by young Master Nangong tonight, I'll personally buy her a house in Shanghai. Ah, mister. Yi is so generous. Young Master Nangong, let's have a drink together. Let me give you a leg massage to relax. The promise of a house in Shanghai instantly heightened the atmosphere. A house in Shanghai costs at least several million yuan, and for them the cost was just one night. The high reward for a small price was something they understood very well. Nangong Han, squeezed among the women, said, Brother Yi, what exactly do you want from me? Tonight, let's just talk about life and not about those bothersome things. Yi Wenbiao, already holding a celebrity in his arms, said, Little sister, come with me tonight. I'll do whatever you say. Wait a minute. Nangong Han's phone rang. He signaled for silence and carefully answered, Auntie, what's up? Your uncle has gone to Shanghai. My uncle is in Shanghai. Yi Wenbiao, overhearing this, frowned. Wasn't Nangong Han's uncle Cheng Liguo? What was he doing in Shanghai at this critical moment? While he pondered, Nangong Han ended the call and immediately dialed Cheng Liguo. At that moment, Cheng Liguo was at the Yi family's home, dining with Song Yun and others. As he chatted with Song Yun about the current situation, his phone rang. Cheng Liguo looked at the caller ID with some displeasure. He hadn't even been in Shanghai for a day, and someone had already informed the Nangong family. But this played right into his hands. Xiaohan. What do you need? Cheng Liguo asked calmly, a stark contrast to his earlier cheerful demeanor with Song Yun. On the other end, Nangong Han felt extremely nervous. He rarely contacted his uncle, who was old Master Ouyang's secretary, a high-ranking figure whose presence always intimidated him. Over time, it had become a psychological shadow for him. Uncle, I heard from Aunt that you're in Shanghai today. Why didn't you let me know so I could prepare? Hearing this, a cold glint flashed in Cheng Liguo's eyes. He hadn't expected his own wife to leak his whereabouts. Even though his position was high, there were many who coveted it. One wrong move could cost him everything. Annoyed, Cheng Liguo replied coldly, I'm here on business. Do you expect me to check if there's anyone from the Nangong family wherever I go? You Nangong family have quite the network. This statement made Nangong Han shiver. When his uncle visited the Nangong family with his aunt, he didn't even acknowledge the family head, so his tone made Nangong Han even more fearful. And no, uncle. I just wanted to invite you to dinner, nothing else. Cheng Liguo thought for a moment, deciding to feign ignorance and subtly warn Nangong Han. Send me the address. I'll come over later. Great. I'll eagerly await your arrival, uncle. Hanging up, Nangong Han clenched his fists, taking deep breaths to calm himself. Meeting such an influential figure could help solidify their relationship. Today, he hosts his uncle. Tomorrow, he might be invited to his uncle's home, strengthening their ties rapidly. At the Yi family, Cheng Liguo put down his phone and apologized. Sorry, I have another dinner appointment and need to leave early. No problem, Secretary Cheng. Attend to your matters first. Father Yi smiled. I'll arrange a car for you to manage your transportation in Shanghai. Cheng Liguo nodded in agreement. He rode the car to the restaurant Nengong Han had booked. At the restaurant entrance, Nengong Han eagerly looked into the distance, with Yi Wenbiao beside him. Soon, Cheng Liguo's car arrived. As he got out, Nengong Han quickly shielded the car roof to prevent his uncle from hitting his head. "Uncle, I know you like Cantonese cuisine, so I booked this place especially," Nengong Han said flatteringly. "Thoughtful of you." Cheng Liguo noticed Yi Wenbiao and hesitated for a moment. Why was the Yi family involved? "Secretary Cheng, long time no see. Let's have a good drink tonight." Yi Wenbiao warmly shook Cheng Liguo's hand, smiling. Cheng Liguo, experienced in handling big situations, changed his expression instantly. He smiled back, patting Yi Wenbiao's shoulder. "There's no rule that guests wait outside. Let's go in." Inside the private room, Nengong Han diligently served his uncle, constantly refilling his plate and glass. "Uncle, I only just learned you were in Shanghai. Please don't be upset. Besides, whenever you come to Shanghai you should let me know. Otherwise I'll get scolded by my father when I return to Beijing." Hearing Nengong Han mention his father, Cheng Liguo felt a headache coming on. His brother-in-law often sought his help, but given Cheng Liguo's own constrained position, he hoped refusing once or twice would make him give up. However, the requests only increased, causing Cheng Liguo to avoid visiting the Ouyang family in Beijing unless necessary. After a few rounds of drinks, everyone was slightly tipsy. Nengong Han cautiously toasted his uncle and asked, "Uncle, why did you come to Shanghai alone today? Did something major happen?" Cheng Liguo sobered up a bit at this question and waved his hand dismissively. "Don't ask what you shouldn't. My mistake, I'll punish myself with a drink." Nengong Han downed his drink in one go. Yi Wenbiao then spoke up, "Curious, Secretary Cheng, you handle so many important matters daily. What brought you here personally? Come on, we're all friends here, just tell us." A gleam of mischief flashed in Cheng Liguo's eyes. It seemed Yi Wenbiao wasn't a good person either. This fit right into his plans. Pretending to be drunk, Cheng Liguo licked his lips and appeared troubled. "Uncle, please tell us. I want to learn from you." "All right. But don't spread this around," Cheng Liguo said mysteriously. "I came here today on behalf of Old Master Ouyang to meet someone." "Old Master Ouyang," Nengong Han exclaimed. Though he was a prominent young figure in Beijing, meeting Old Master Ouyang was beyond his reach. "Uncle Cheng, tell us more. I'm eager to hear," Yi Wenbiao urged. "Hold on. Let me drink some water first." Cheng Liguo sipped a large glass of tea, building their anticipation. "I came to see the person who saved Old Master Ouyang's life. A while ago, the old master fainted in a mall while out alone. Fortunately, a young man saved him." Hearing this, Nengong Han's heart raced. Holy crap! Old Master Ouyang's savior. This guy hit the jackpot. Old Master Ouyang was a living legend. Wherever he went, he was respected. Being his savior meant a lifetime of guaranteed success. How did the Ouyang family repay this young man? Yi Wenbiao asked, surprised he hadn't heard about this in Beijing. Such an event would normally cause a huge stir, but things had been unusually quiet. That's the point. This young man didn't ask for anything in return. Think about how noble he is. Nengong Han felt like crying out of jealousy. Damn it. This guy really didn't know how to appreciate his luck. If it were him, he would have seized the opportunity. "Uncle, what's this young man's name? I'd like to visit him." Nengong Han was eager to connect with the young man. If he became friends with Old Master Ouyang's savior, it could open doors for him too. "He's someone you should know," Cheng Liguo said calmly. "He started from scratch, and has made a name for himself in Shanghai." Nengong Han was puzzled. Someone he knew? Who started from nothing? He racked his brain to figure out who it could be. He was dying to know. "If you can build a good relationship with this person, you could gain endless resources," Cheng Liguo said with a smile. "His name is Song Yun. Do you know him?" "What?" Nengong Han exclaimed. "Say that name again?" "Song Yun. How could it be Song Yun? How could it be Song Yun?" He felt like a deflated balloon, slumping into his chair. "Yes." Yi Wenbiao took a sharp breath. Wasn't Song Yun active in Shanghai? How did he end up saving Old Master Ouyang in Beijing? If Song Yun really had connections with the Ouyang family, things would be tough. Cheng Liguo pretended to be unaware, asking, "Why do you both look so down?" "Uncle Cheng, haven't you been following the business news lately?" Yi Wenbiao sighed. "I've been busy with a project." "What's happened?" "Uncle," Nengong Han started. Cheng Liguo slammed the table and shouted, "Speak up like a man. Don't be so cowardly." Nangong Han, lost for words, stared at the floor, feeling the effects of the alcohol hitting him all at once. He realized he never truly understood Song Yun. With the Ouyang family backing him, Song Yun didn't need to care about anyone else. He could reject the Nangong family's gestures outright. Even if he had offended Song Yun, his father would have to kneel and beg forgiveness in front of old Master Ouyang. He regretted everything. Why had he insisted on opposing Song Yun? Why didn't he know when to retreat? If he had befriended Song Yun when he first came to Shanghai, wouldn't he be soaring by now? Anguish, hatred, jealousy, and confusion swirled in Nangong Han's mind. In the end, only one thought remained: it's over. If the Nangong family learned about this, they would abandon him without hesitation. No one would offend old Master Ouyang for his sake. Everything was over. Yi Wenbiao, you explain. Cheng Liguo demanded. I want to know everything. Yi Wenbiao had no choice but to recount the conflicts between Song Yun and the Nangong family. Cheng Liguo knew all along but played along. He kicked Nangong Han and said through gritted teeth, "You've caused a huge problem. Uncle, please save me. I'm still young with a bright future ahead. I can't lose everything now." Nangong Han cried, clutching Cheng Liguo's leg. "I'll apologize to Song Yun on my knees. Just save me, please." Does the Nangong family really think they are invincible and can do whatever they want? Don't you realize you've already overextended yourselves? After this incident, the Nangong family will completely vanish from the ranks of the noble families. Cheng Liguo spoke bitterly. Tell me, do you have any other plans? If so, cancel them immediately. I did have a plan to take down Song Yun, to make him disappear. Nangong Han choked up. Uncle, I know I was wrong. I'll call off those people right away. Please, you have to save me. We're family. Rubbish. Cheng Liguo felt a chill run through him upon hearing this. Fortunately, he arrived in time, otherwise, Nangong Han would have executed the plan without hesitation, implicating Cheng Liguo through family ties. How could he escape old Master Ouyang's suspicion then? He knew how much old Master Ouyang valued Song Yun, or he wouldn't have been sent personally to resolve this matter. Enraged, Cheng Liguo slapped Nangong Han hard. Blood trickled from Nangong Han's mouth as he knelt pathetically on the ground. Do you think my position gives me free rein? Do you know how cautious I am in front of Song Yun, always careful not to leave a bad impression, and you dare to act so recklessly? Don't call me uncle. I'm not worthy of that title. Uncle, please, for my aunt's sake, help me. We can't let the Nangong family be destroyed. Cheng Liguo's forehead veins bulged as he suppressed his anger. Tell your father to immediately reduce the Nangong family's power. Only by showing weakness can I mediate on your behalf. What if Song Yun refuses to let go? Then the Nangong family will have to live as ordinary people. Hopefully he'll spare you for my sake, but forget about wealth and status. Cheng Liguo had long resented the Nangong family's actions but tolerated them out of consideration for his wife. Now, this incident gave him a strong reason to cut down their power, making his own tasks easier without worrying about their feelings. Contact your father now, and tell him to give me an answer within 10 minutes. Otherwise I won't care about the Nangong family's matters anymore. Faced with this ultimatum, Nangong Han was torn, but ultimately driven by fear. Trembling, he called his father and explained what had happened. Hearing the news, his father was stunned, as if struck by lightning, unable to react for a long time. He never imagined Song Yun's backer was old Master Ouyang. Had he known, he would never have antagonized Song Yun. Now, it was too late. Realizing his brother-in-law suggested reducing their power might secure Song Yun's forgiveness, he quickly summoned all the managers for an emergency meeting. In the end, they reluctantly concluded that if Song Yun was provoked, leading the Ouyang family to intervene, the Nangong family would be ruined. There was one last question: if they retreated, even leaving Beijing to their ancestral home, would Zhao's family and Song Yun allow it? The Nangong family head posed this question to Cheng Liguo, who replied firmly, "Don't worry. If you're willing to step back, I can mediate, ensuring you can still live well." Thank you. Itu. The family head collapsed into his chair, breathing heavily. The pressure he felt was immense. Their ancestral foundation, built over generations, was now uprooted due to a single wrong decision. How could he face his ancestors after death? Cheng Liguo, dragging Nangong Han, intended to find Song Yun but was stopped by Yi Wenbiao. Yi Wenbiao, smiling, said, "Uncle Cheng, there's no need to rush. Otherwise they'll think we're easy targets." Yi Wenbiao, is the Yi family involved in this too? Cheng Liguo's eyes narrowed. If true, this would complicate matters. Relax, I have no intention of meddling. I just feel you're overly favoring an outsider. So what if Song Yun is old Master Ouyang's savior? Does that make him invincible? Yi Wenbiao calmly pulled Nengong Han up. I've grown up with Han, and I can't stand seeing him suffer. Is the Yi family entering this conflict? Chang Ligo asked anxiously. Do you think the current situation isn't chaotic enough? Should we let outsiders bully our noble families? Yi Wenbiao sneered. Uncle Cheng, have you been blinded by your role with the Ouyang family? Do you know how much effort it takes to build a noble family over generations? Can you just dismiss the Nengong family like that? Even the Ouyang family can't act so arbitrarily. You. Chang Ligo took a deep breath. He hadn't expected a meddler at this critical moment. Staring at Nengong Han, he asked, will you listen to your uncle or this brother? Nengong Han was clueless, overwhelmed by the situation. Uncle Cheng, let me call the Nengong family head. Yi Wenbiao then called the Nengong family head. Uncle Nengong, I heard about your trouble. Although the Yui family isn't large, we're willing to help you through this. The family head, hearing this, was confused. What was going on? Hadn't they agreed on a plan? Now, suddenly the Yui family was offering help? The Yui family had been rising rapidly, nearing the top 5 in Beijing. Why were they stepping in now? Uncle Nengong, you have two options: give up your ancestral foundation and leave in disgrace, or accept the Yui family's help. Of course we won't help for free. After resolving this, let's become allies. Is that all? The family head asked hoarsely. Nothing else. That's all. I assure you this is on behalf of the Yi family head. If it's false, may our ancestors abandon us. What choice to make? The brave eat their fill, while the timid starve. It's hard to imagine the Nengong family willingly leaving. It will be difficult to return once they've left. I agree to the alliance with the Yi family. The head of the Nengong family announced loudly. Now, I trouble young Master Yi to take Hanar back to Beijing. We will deal with the matters in Shanghai later. Yi Wenbiao laughed. It seems the head of the Nengong family hasn't lost his ambition. That's good. Leave Han to me, I promise to return him to you just as he is. After hanging up, Yi Wenbiao shrugged. Looks like we won't need to trouble Uncle Cheng. Are you really sure about this? Offending the Ouyang family is not a good choice, Chang Ligo asked calmly. Or have you already decided to oppose the Ouyang family? No. The Ouyang family is a giant, we wouldn't dare offend them, Yi Wenbiao replied. Now, I'll take Han back home overnight. You take care. With that, Yi Wenbiao dragged the dejected Nengong Han out of the restaurant. Chang Ligo sat in his chair, pondering why the Yi family had gotten involved. After more than an hour, he decided to inform Ouyang Rong about the situation, leaving the Ouyang family to handle the headaches. He was just a secretary, after all. Ouyang Rong had already been asleep. Upon hearing about the Yi family's involvement, he moved to his study and stayed up all night. The next day, Song Yun learned that Chang Liguo had left Shanghai. He was a bit disappointed that he hadn't had a chance to have a good conversation with the wise middle-aged man. In Beijing, at the Ouyang family estate, Old Master Ouyang's breakfast was a simple dish of pickled vegetables, a steamed bun, and a bowl of corn porridge. His lifestyle was simpler than that of an average family. Father, something big has happened. Calm down. As long as I'm alive, nothing can topple the Ouyang family. Old Master Ouyang set down his chopsticks, wiped his mouth with a towel, and asked calmly, what's the fuss about now? The Yui family has entered the fray and formed an alliance with the Nengong family. Oh, impressive, Old Master Ouyang chuckled. Silly boy, isn't this good news for us? How so? Think about it. The Yi family has no connection to Song Yun. Why would they suddenly help the Nengong family? Old Master Ouyang took a puff from his pipe. And consider who would most want to crush Song Yun after his identity was revealed. Do you mean the people who forced Song Bo out? Ouyang Rong was shocked. It couldn't be the Yi family. They weren't powerful enough to intimidate Song Bo back then. Who said it's just the Yi family? Old Master Ouyang tapped his pipe. The Yi family is just a visible pawn. The forces behind them are far more formidable. Hiss. Ouyang Rong gasped. Doesn't this mean Song Yun is in great danger? As long as I'm alive, no one can harm him. At worst, he'll face some suppression, Old Master Ouyang said nonchalantly. Now, investigate everyone connected to the Yi family. We'll root out these hidden snakes. Song Yun had no idea about these developments. He only noticed that the Nengong family seemed to have disappeared from Shanghai, leaving him to absorb their remaining businesses without opposition. Meanwhile, Yuan Siyu, now in her senior year, was entering the internship phase. Many of her friends were already crafting resumes and applying to major companies. Yuan Siyu had no strong feelings about graduation. She planned to open a flower shop in a busy area and spend her days tending to flowers. But her friends were anxious about finding jobs, constantly attending campus recruitment fairs. Today, Yuan Siyu's roommate had her resume rejected by 4 companies and dragged her along to another recruitment fair. As they walked, a young man approached them. "Hello, ladies. I think you have great potential. Are you interested in joining our company?" The young man, looking very cheerful, caught the attention of many girls. "What company are you from?" Yuan Siyu's roommate asked, curious about the resume. "Our company focuses on modeling and cosplay photography. The base salary is 10,000 yuan, plus commissions, totaling about 40,000 to 70,000 yuan a month. Interested?" 40,000 to 70,000. Is that true? Wow. A base salary of 10,000. Your company is really generous. Can I visit your company? The surrounding girls crowded around excitedly. Yuan Siyu pushed out of the crowd, shook her head at her friend's glowing eyes. Fresh graduates in Shanghai making that kind of money? It seemed too good to be true. Calm down, everyone. You all have great potential and a good chance of getting in. Leave your contact details and our HR will request your resumes later. The young man handed out application forms to the girls. After they filled them out, he said, "If you pass the initial screening and come for an interview, wear something revealing. It will highlight your figure and give you an edge since our main business is photography." On the way back, Yuan Siyu listened to her friends discussing what to wear to the interview. After all, this was the first high-paying job opportunity they had encountered. If they passed the interview and worked for a few years, they might save enough for a down payment in Shanghai. The more they thought about it, the more excited they became, eagerly awaiting HR's call. But Yuan Siyu had no good feelings about the company. She knew a simple photography job wouldn't pay that much. The company must be hiding something. Her roommate nudged her and asked with a smile, "Siyu, what will you wear to the interview?" "I'm not planning to go." Yuan Siyu shook her head. "I don't think you should either. It sounds too shady. We're fresh out of school and don't know much. It's easy to get tricked." "Right. Our campus belle Yuan Siyu has a rich boyfriend who bought her a car worth tens of thousands. Why would she need a job?" A girl in front mocked. This girl, also in Yuan Siyu's club, felt overshadowed by her beauty and had little presence in the club. It made her feel extremely unbalanced. During the recruitment talk, the young man's gaze had been fixed on Yuan Siyu, which further humiliated her. That's why she lashed out when Yuan Siyu said she wasn't going to the interview. Yuan Siyu was unaware of the girl's hidden thoughts. She only assumed the girl was upset because she didn't have to worry about finding a job. "I'm just not interested in that kind of work, and my family wouldn't allow me to be a model," Yuan Siyu explained. "As for the boyfriend you mentioned, he's actually my brother. Don't get any ideas." "Brother? You've never mentioned him all these years," the girl sneered. "We've known each other for so long and everyone's family situation is clear. Suddenly you have a brother who buys you clothes and a car." Before she could finish, a friend pulled her back. Her words were too harsh, implying that Yuan Siyu was being kept. Yuan Siyu sighed. It didn't matter what these people thought. They would soon start their internships and graduate in a year, so they could think whatever they wanted. Seeing Yuan Siyu not arguing, the girl felt even more justified in her assumptions. She thought that in today's world, a brother was just a euphemism for something else, and no one could really know what their relationship was. "Alright everyone, let's focus on acing the interview and getting the job," another girl said, trying to calm things down. "Yes, we've been classmates for years, let's not end on bad terms. Siyu, why don't you come with me tomorrow for moral support? Plus you can drive and I can save on travel costs." Hearing her roommate's request, Yuan Siyu reluctantly agreed. After all, she had nothing better to do and could use the driving practice. The next day, a few girls gathered in Yuan Siyu's dorm room, chatting excitedly about the upcoming interview. Yuan Siyu, sitting on a chair, listened quietly. To be honest, she had no interest in this job. She didn't need the money, and Song Yun would never agree to it anyway. "Is everyone here?" one girl asked, counting heads. They realized the girl who had argued with Yuan Siyu wasn't with them. She probably planned to go on her own. Yuan Siyu drove them to the modeling company, located in a commercial area in the city center, known within the industry. Upon entering, the young man who had recruited them the day before came out and handed out company brochures. "I'm glad to see you all here today. Perhaps we'll be colleagues soon. You can call me Brother Jiang. Now, let's start the interview. Follow me." The girls, each with their own thoughts, followed Jiang Chuan to the office. At the door, Jiang Chuan scanned the girls, noticing that most had dressed provocatively, just as he had suggested. Except for one yuan CU. He frowned, seeing that the girl he had been most impressed with yesterday was dressed so conservatively. Didn't I tell you to dress more sexily? Look at your classmates, they followed the instructions. Why are you standing out? Jiang Chuan sighed. With your looks and the right clothes, you could be a star in our company. But if you don't take the interview seriously, how can I recommend you to the management? Though his words seemed to express concern, his greedy eyes betrayed his true intentions. Consider me just tagging along today, Yuan Siyu said, following her roommate into the interview room. Inside, the company seemed quite large, regardless of its legitimacy. The interview room spanned over 200 square meters, with several managers' desks arranged in a semicircle. Many beautiful girls stood nervously before them. You, and you stay. The rest can leave, said a manager with slick-back hair, leaving only 3 girls with impressive figures. Next group. 10 more tall, pretty girls stepped forward, and the manager quickly chose 3. The first few batches were from external recruitment. Though attractive, they lacked the fresh charm of the new graduates, and the manager felt weary from seeing too many. When Jiang Chuan heard the call for the next group, he said, "Let's go." He nudged the girls forward, whispering, "Good luck." The girls felt shy under the scrutiny, holding hands as they walked forward. Yuan Siyu wanted to leave but was pulled along by a nearby girl. The evaluating manager perked up at the sight of these fresh faces, recognizing them as university students. He licked his lips, his eyes gleaming. It had been a long time since he'd seen such fresh talent, and he wanted to keep them all. As his gaze traveled from left to right, Jiang Chuan subtly signaled him. Following Jiang Chuan's gaze, the manager's eyes settled on Yuan Siyu, captivated by her youthful beauty. Wow! Such a gem! Yang Chuan, you've outdone yourself. I'll make sure you get a promotion and a raise. Mr. Zheng, shall we begin the evaluation? Another man beside the manager coughed, bringing Zheng back to reality. Sure, let's start with introductions, Mr. Zheng said, covering his excitement. Jiang Quan knew this meant his group was likely to advance. Unlike the previous groups, these university girls had caught Mr. Zheng's interest. Nervously, the girls introduced themselves. Many forgot their rehearsed lines and could only speak whatever came to mind. When it was Yuan Siyu's turn, she coldly stated her name and nothing more. Even so, Mr. Zheng nodded approvingly. He loved their shy demeanor. Compared to the more seasoned applicants, these fresh graduates were like blooming flowers. Congratulations, you've all passed. Now you can proceed with the onboarding process, Mr. Zheng said with a smile. If you have any questions during your work, feel free to ask me. Although I'm in management, I'm always willing to help. They passed the interview. The girls were overjoyed. None of them had expected the interview to be so easy. Given the high elimination rate of the previous groups, they had braced themselves for a tougher challenge. Jiang Chuan led them out of the interview room towards the HR office. Congratulations. If there's nothing else, I'll be heading out. I never planned to join this company, Yuan Siyu said softly. She still couldn't quite grasp how she had ended up being roped into all this and was now on the verge of becoming a model. Oh, come on, Siyu, just wait for us. We'll head back to school together after we're done. Yeah, it's too far to get back to school on our own. A taxi would cost almost $100. Siyu, just humor US poor students for a bit. I'll treat you to dinner when we get back. Wrong, we're not poor anymore. From tomorrow we'll have a bright future ahead. The girls giggled and joked, leaving Yuan Siyu with no choice but to wait with them. After about half an hour, a few more people were brought in by the company staff to complete their onboarding. Among them, the girls spotted the one who had argued with Yuan Siyu the day before. They tried to greet her, but she silently sat in a corner, leaving them feeling awkward with their raised hands. Wait here for a moment. Mr. Zheng will personally handle your onboarding, Jiang Chuan said as he stepped out of the HR office, smiling. It's clear Mr. Zheng values you all highly. Keep it up, and aim for that 6-figure salary. Just then Mr. Zheng approached with a few of the interviewers. Follow me, please, Mr. Zheng said warmly. The girls were thrilled. Fresh out of school, they had a natural reverence for people in positions of power. Having a company executive personally oversee their onboarding felt like a tremendous honor. Mr. Zheng led them to the manager's office. He invited them to sit and close the door. Hello everyone. I'd like to ask you a question. Why did you choose our company, Mr. Zheng asked, seating himself. His eyes roved over the girls, assessing their figures. The question was a common one. Some girls mentioned childhood dreams, while others shyly admitted they were drawn by the high salary. Mr. Zheng laughed. I like your honesty. Money is essential, it's the most tangible thing. Unlike other bosses, I don't like making empty promises. You earn what you're worth. How does that sound? His seemingly sincere words resonated with the girls. Our salaries have different tiers. Some may only earn a bit over 10,000 a month, while others could earn tens of thousands, buying a home in Shanghai within a few years. Which path do you choose? Definitely the high-paying one. You've got ambition, and I like that, mister. Jing said. So, I'll arrange work that aligns with that goal. Beyond regular modeling and photo shoots, you'll need to attend some social events as companions. The girls were puzzled. Social events? They associated those with high society. Just to clarify, you'll be there to drink and chat with guests. That's all, mister. Zheng continued. The girls began to understand. This job wasn't just about modeling, it involved being social companions too. Mister. Zheng rapped his knuckles on the desk, his expression serious. I'm democratic. I won't force anyone. If you agree, I'll make the arrangements. Then, turning to Yuan Cu, he added, as for you, you won't need to participate in these events. I'll assign you a different role. Sorry, I'm not interested in the job, Yuan Cu said coolly. Everything had seemed normal at first, and Yuan Cu had felt guilty about doubting the company. But now it was clear something was off. Asia, mister. Zheng frowned. Aren't you here for a job? No. That's a pity, mister. Zheng mused. How about being my secretary? 50,000 a month, and the company will rent an apartment for you. How about it? Isn't that just being a kept woman? Yuan Cu stood up, grabbed her water glass, and threw it in Mr. Zheng's face. In your dreams. She led the other girls, who had fallen silent, out of the office. Mr. Zheng sat there, stunned. He had encountered many college girls but none with Yuan Cu's fiery temperament. Jiang Chuan, get in here, mister! Zheng shouted. Jiang Kuan, confused by the sight of Yuan Cu and the others leaving in a hurry, hurried into the office. Is this the high-quality student you brought in, mister? Zheng pointed at his wet face. Damn it. Do they really think they're that special? Contact Zhang Kao. I want those girls, no matter what. I'll get on it right away. Jiang Chuan, trembling, left the office. Despite Mr. Zheng's usual gentle demeanor, he knew the man was a ruthless thug before his rise to power. Zhang Kao, the sworn brother Mr. Zheng mentioned, still ran with a gang of dozens. Jiang Chuan called Zhang Kao, who laughed heartily upon hearing the situation. Just a few young girls? Leave it to me. Zhang Kao often mingled with the young models from Mr. Zheng's company, so he was eager to help his brother. After the call, Jiang Chuan returned to Mr. Zheng's office. Mr. Zheng, his face now composed, was calmly explaining the job to another group of girls. Jiang Quan noticed one of them was the girl who had been with Yuan Cu on campus the day before. Mr. Zheng might not have won over Yuan Cu, but he was still very interested in the university girl in front of him. Mr. Zheng cherished the purity of these young women. Once he was done with them, he could easily toss them aside with a trivial job title. Ren Qi, you can go home now. Come to the office at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be taking you to a golf gathering, Mr. Zheng said to the girl who had argued with Yuan Cu the previous day. Mr. Zheng didn't immediately offer a direct benefit to this girl. He believed that girls like her, with a bit of incentive, would willingly follow him. The girl nodded excitedly and prepared to leave. A golf gathering. That was a high-class activity, attended only by prominent figures. If she could catch the eye of one of them, marrying into wealth could be a real possibility. Meanwhile, at the Yi family study, Yi's father was helping his son-in-law sort through the remnants of the Nengong family's resources. With the news of the Nengong family's complete withdrawal from Shanghai spreading widely, the Yi family, riding on Song Yun's coattails, was also thriving. Now, the elites of Shanghai went out of their way to curry favor with Yi's father, making the Yi family one of the top families in the city. But the most prominent figure in Shanghai was undoubtedly Song Yun. Some had calculated his current assets and found that he ranked among the top 10 richest individuals. Song Yun was now a major player, and no one in Shanghai dared to scheme against him. After all, if the noble families of Beijing couldn't best him, what chance did they have? Zhao Song, has your father said when he's coming back to the country? Yi's father asked, placing a project proposal on the table and rubbing his tired eyes. I can't reach him on the phone again, Song Yun sighed. Please don't mind. My father is unpredictable. When he returns, I'll have him toast to you. Song Yun felt indebted to his wife. Back when he had nothing, Yi Qingqing married him without any questions. They hadn't even had a simple proposal or wedding, yet she never complained. Such an understanding wife deserved his utmost effort. Yi's father quickly dismissed Song Yun's concern, waving his hand. His mysterious in-law was a top figure, but only his silly son-in-law remained clueless. By the way, you and King have been married for a while now. It's time to consider having a child, Yi's father said seriously. For a family, lineage is extremely important. You should make having children a priority. Song Yun blushed. Discussing such matters with his father-in-law was awkward. Don't but me. I'll have your mother-in-law talk to King. Since she's married into the Song family, she should contribute to the lineage, Yi's father insisted, then sent Song Yun off to find his daughter. He preferred to handle the tedious work himself. Back in Yi King's room, Song Yun found his wife bored, watching videos on her phone. Sneaking up behind her, he covered her eyes and whispered, "Honey, do you prefer boys or girls?" Yi King was confused. What was he talking about? Dad said he'd love to have twins. Don't you want to make his wish come true? Song Yun teased. Yi King finally understood. Her husband was just being playful. She swatted his hand away, turned, and bit him on the neck. Ouch. If you don't want twins, we can just have a girl. Yi King bit harder. Okay. A boy. Who wants to have kids with you, you shameless man? Yi King blushed and rolled her eyes at him. Hey, I have royal orders. You have to obey, Song Yun joked. As Song Yun and Yi King were busy trying for a child, Zhang Kao, who had taken secret photos of Yuan Siyu, brought them to Mr. Zheng. Mr. Zheng's secretary now was Ren Qi. After a few days they had become quite familiar with each other, each aware of the other's ulterior motives. Mr. Zheng, I've done everything you asked, Zhang Kao said, placing a stack of photos on Mr. Zheng's desk. Among those girls, this one looked the best, so I had my men focus on her. Mr. Zheng picked up the photos, visibly excited. Zhang Kao. You always know how to please me, Mr. Zheng licked his lips. Don't worry, I won't forget your efforts. Ren Qi glanced at the photos and recognized Yuan Siyu. Mr. Zheng still hadn't given up on her? This couldn't happen. If Mr. Zheng succeeded with Yuan Siyu, what would become of her? Her dreams would be shattered. She needed to find a way to sabotage this. Zhang Kao. Did you find any detailed information about this girl, Mr. Zheng asked, caressing the photo. This girl was perfect. He had been with prettier women, but none as pure-looking as Yuan Siyu. He had to have her. This girl came from a poor family but later got a rich boyfriend who bought her a car. Zhang Kao started. Ren Qi interrupted. Yes, she's my university classmate. She has a rich boyfriend, likely a second-generation wealthy. Zhang Kao glared at Ren Qi. What was she doing, interrupting him? Ha, a rich boyfriend? So what? His dad can't be more powerful than Shanghai's wealthiest Mr. Zheng said with a smile. Let me tell you a secret. Shanshui Group is expanding, and they're interested in investing in my company. Wow. That's impressive, Mr. Zhang Kao exclaimed, surprised at how well connected Mr. Zheng had become. This would make him unstoppable in Shanghai. Mr. Zheng, leave this girl to me. I'll make sure you're satisfied. Zhang Kao eagerly set off to complete his task. Meanwhile, Ren Qi stood behind Mr. Zheng, gently massaging his shoulders. Ren Qi. A woman should be as considerate as you, don't you agree, Mr. Zheng said, closing his eyes, but his mind was filled with thoughts of Yuan Siyu. He felt a surge of frustration. How could she be so ungrateful? He had offered her a platform that would take years to achieve. Yet she rejected him. The more he thought about it, the more irritated he became. He gripped Ren Qi's hand and said, "Come home with me tonight." Ren Qi was taken aback by the sudden proposition. She had intended to keep Mr. Zheng interested while extracting more benefits. But Mr. Zheng seemed far more eager than she had anticipated. Oh, Mr. Zheng, I'm already yours. What are you afraid of? I've made plans with friends tonight. Can we choose another day? Ren Qi said, trying to sound playful. Shopping? Without money? Come with me tonight, and tomorrow you can choose any bag you like, Mr. Zheng said dismissively. Ren Qi gasped, covering her mouth in feigned surprise. She turned and knelt beside Mr. Zheng, looking up at him with wide eyes. Then I'll do as you say. Her coquettish tone only heightened Mr. Zheng's desire. If he didn't have other matters to attend to, he would have taken her home immediately. By the way, Mr. Zheng, you mentioned Shanshui Group earlier. Are they really that big? Are they stronger than our company? Ren Qi asked, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. She saw herself as exceptional and saw Mr. Zheng as a stepping stone to greater things. Of course they're massive. You're new, so you wouldn't know. But Shanshui Group is owned by Shanghai's richest man. Getting in with them means soaring to new heights, Mr. Zheng said proudly. Stay with me, and you'll be rewarded well. Congratulations in advance, Mr. Zheng Ren Qi said, her mind already plotting. Her looks and charm were her assets, and being by Mr. Zheng's side could be her ticket to meeting Shanshui Group's higher-ups. If she could catch the attention of their general manager, her future would be limitless. Ren Qi, here's an internal training disc. Study it, and perform well tonight, Mr. Zheng said, handing her a cherished possession. Ren Qi internally scoffed at the so-called training, but outwardly she accepted it with a smile. Just then, Mr. Zheng's phone rang. Seeing the caller ID, he excitedly answered. Hello, Mr. Chang. How can I help you, Mr. Zheng greeted. The caller was Chang Bingzhong, head of Shanshui Group's Shanghai branch. With Song Yun's growing assets, Shanshui Group's business was expanding, and Chang Bingzhong managed operations closely, always wary of making any missteps. Mr. Zheng, are you free tonight for dinner? Chang asked. Absolutely. I've been waiting for your call, Mr. Zheng responded eagerly. Name the place, and I'll be there early. Let's meet at Tianlin Grand Hotel at 6, Chang said. Great, I'll be there, Mr. Zheng replied, hanging up and exhaling deeply. This could be the opportunity he had been waiting for. If he could secure a deal with Shanshui Group, his company's future would be bright. It looks like I can't enjoy your company tonight, Mr. Zheng said to Ren Qi. What happened, Mr. Zheng, she asked. I'm meeting with Shanshui Group's Shanghai head. This could be my big break, he explained. Ren Qi's eyes lit up. Mr. Zheng, can I come with you? I'd love to learn from you. Mr. Zheng thought for a moment and nodded. Just don't interrupt. Be there to support me. Of course I'll be there to serve you, she replied sweetly. At 5:30, Mr. Zheng arrived at Tianlin Grand Hotel. 10 minutes later, a long Lincoln pulled up. Mr. Zheng hurried to open the door for Chang Bingzhong. Mr. Zheng, good to see you. Let's have a good talk tonight, Chang said with a smile. I'm here to provide any information you need, Mr. Zheng replied, leading the way to a private room. As they were about to discuss the investment details, one of Chang's assistants entered with a serious expression. Mr. Chang, there's an urgent matter. Chang was puzzled but excused himself. Outside, his assistant showed him a file from the audit department. The audit department, recently established by Song Yun, monitored partnerships and internal affairs. Chang quickly read through the file and returned to the room, glaring at Mr. Zheng. Mr. Zheng, you tried to bribe Shanshui Group's executives? How dare you, Chang shouted, relieved he hadn't signed any contracts. Mr. Zheng was stunned. How did Chang find out? Mr. Chang, you're mistaken. I'd never do such a thing, Mr. Zheng protested. Chang slammed the file on the table. Don't take us for fools. Meanwhile, in the university district, through his informants, Zhang Kao meticulously tracked Yuan Ziyu's movements. Every evening at 7 she would walk alone to the library, passing through a secluded path. He decided this was the perfect spot for his plan. At 7 o'clock, as darkness fell, Zhang Kao sat in his BMW, waiting for the call from his informants. Shortly after, his phone buzzed with a message. Yuan Ziyu had left her dorm and was heading to the library. They would strike when the area was deserted. Zhang Kao smiled, feeling that half the battle was already won. He was experienced in these matters. University girls often succumbed under pressure, especially when tempted with high salaries. Once this task was completed, his standing with Mr. Zheng would soar, perhaps even leading to his own business and a life of luxury. He texted Mr. Zheng, boss, get ready to enjoy tonight. However, Mr. Zheng did not respond. Zhang Kao was unaware that Mr. Zheng was currently sweating bullets under Chang Bingzhong's interrogation. Zheng's eyes stared at the incriminating documents, feeling a rising panic. How had his actions been discovered? He had been so careful. Now, his career and possibly his company's future in Shanghai were in jeopardy. Mr. Chang, there must be some mistake, he stammered, trying to maintain his composure. Chang Bingzhong laughed coldly and slapped the documents onto the table. Do you know how these were obtained? Our CEO, Mr. Song, established an audit department that uncovered your bribes. Who do you think Mr. Song will believe, you or his investigators? Zheng Si was dumbfounded. How had this escalated to involve Shanghai's wealthiest man? What about the investment, he asked desperately. Chang Bingzhong was infuriated by Zheng's audacity. Investment? Are you kidding me? You should consider shutting down your company or relocating. Maybe then you can start over. As Chang Bingzhong delivered his ultimatum, Ren Qi looked on in awe. This was the power she aspired to, the ability to decide someone's fate with a single word. She resolved that she had to attach herself to someone like Mr. Chang, even if he was significantly older. Mr. Chang, please help me. I can offer you money, shares, anything, Zheng Si pleaded, clutching Chang's arm. I've worked so hard to get here. You can't send me back to nothing over one mistake. Do you think all companies operate like your chaotic mess? If Mr. Song hears about this, he'll hold you accountable for bribery as well, Chang retorted coldly. Shutting down your company is the best option. Don't test my patience. Just then, Zheng Si's phone rang. Seeing Zhang Kao's name, he panicked, knowing what the call was about. This could be disastrous. He ignored the call, but Chang gestured for him to put it on speaker. The call came again, and this time Chang answered. Boss, the plan is in motion. In 5 minutes, we'll have good news. Tonight, I'll send you the girl. Once you're in with Shanshui Group, don't forget your little brother. Zheng Si hastily ended the call. What were you sending? Money, Chang demanded. No, it's complicated, Zheng stammered. Speak. Were you sending more bribes to Shanshui Group? Chang pressed. No. It's about a girl, Yuan Cu, Zheng admitted. Chang Bingzhong's eyes widened in shock as he recognized the name. Do you have any idea who she is? She's Mr. Song's sister. You plan to kidnap Mr. Song's sister. What Zheng Si's mind went blank as he realized the gravity of his mistake. He felt a warm sensation spreading down his leg as fear overwhelmed him. Contact your men immediately. If anything happens to Yuan Cu, you might as well start picking out a burial plot, Chang shouted, knowing how much Yuan Cu meant to Mr. Song. Zheng frantically called Zhang Cao, but there was no answer. Desperate, Chang contacted Shanshui Group's security department, ordering them to locate Yuan Cu at all costs. Elsewhere, a thug dressed in black was trailing Yuan Cu. Admiring her figure, he prepared to act, hoping to get a piece of the action later. As he closed in, ready to pounce with a chloroform-soaked cloth, a large figure appeared behind him. A powerful hand grabbed his wrist and twisted it violently. H8, the thug screamed as his arm was broken. The person protecting Yuan Cu was one of Huang Baoting's comrades, summoned to guard Song Yun. Initially, Huang Baoting thought his boss was just a defenseless young master, so he called in over 10 men. Now that he knew Song Yun's impressive skills, he felt a bit redundant. Having so many guards around was impractical, but sending them away felt wrong. Song Yun decided to distribute these guards to protect different people. He kept 3 ordinary guards for himself, and the rest were assigned to protect Father Yi, his uncle, Yuan Cu, and Song Huan in the distant city. These guards were top-notch, maintaining a low profile despite the elements. If Song Yun hadn't told Father Yi, he would have thought the 2 burly men at his door were just running a car wash business. Damn it, we've encountered a busybody, one thug spat on the ground, pulling out a weapon as he rushed toward the burly protector. Let's get this girl and we'll be rolling in riches soon. The thugs encouraged each other, underestimating their opponent, thinking he was just a fitness enthusiast from the university. They believed their street fighting skills would easily overpower him. Run. They're not joking. Yuan Cu's lips turned pale, but she didn't want to involve a stranger in her trouble. The burly man turned to Yuan Cu, shaking his head coldly. Dealing with them is a piece of cake. In a flash, he moved, his powerful muscles bursting with energy. Within moments, the thugs were on the ground, groaning in pain from the simple yet effective blows. Who sent you? The burly man demanded, lifting a thug by the collar. The thug, writhing in pain, could barely speak. The burly man frowned, slapped the thug, and applied just enough force to cause pain without serious harm. Awakened by the slap, the thug, trembling and drooling, stared in fear. This man wasn't just some gym goer, he was a deadly force. I'll ask one last time. Who sent you? Brother Zhao, the thug stammered. Call him and tell him the job's done. Tell him to come here. I can't. Then you're useless. The burly man struck the thug's neck, rendering him unconscious. He moved to another thug, crouching down. Call your boss. I'll do it. I'll do it, the thug cried, fumbling for his phone and dialing Zhang Kao. Is it done? Zhang Kao's voice boomed over the line. It's done. Come over, we're at the usual spot. The burly man snatched the phone and hung up. Zhang Kao, sitting in his BMW, was confused. Why did they need him there? Couldn't they handle one girl? He decided he needed to teach his subordinates a lesson about respect and obedience. Quiet down, or I'll make sure your boss regrets running. The burly man warned the thugs, his voice cutting through the night like a knife. Excuse me, Yuan Siu approached, wanting to ask questions but was stopped by the burly man. I'm here to ensure your safety on behalf of Mr. Song. Let's wait until this is over, he said. Understanding, Yuan Siu stood aside, waiting obediently. Soon, the sound of a man humming a tune came from a distance. The burly man hid in the shadows, ready for the confrontation. Zhang Kao approached, excited at how smoothly things had gone. He thought about the connections he would make through Mr. Zheng, his body trembling with anticipation. But as he neared and saw his men on the ground and Yuan Siu standing unharmed, he realized something was very wrong. He turned to flee but crashed into the solid frame of the burly man. Brother Zhao, come with me, the burly man said emotionlessly. To Zhang Kao, he looked like the embodiment of death. Terrified, Zhang Kao tried to run, but his legs felt like they were made of lead. Please, I don't know what I did to offend you, but if you let me go, I'll give you 100,000 to be friends, Zhang Kao pleaded. You talk too much. The burly man punched him in the stomach, causing Zhang Kao to collapse, retching on the ground. Disgusted, the burly man grabbed Zhang Kao by the collar and turned to the thugs. Go turn yourselves in to the nearest police station. If I have to catch you again, it won't be as easy. The thugs nodded frantically. Miss Yuan, let's go find Mr. Song, the burly man said, leading her away. He found Zhang Kao's BMW and tossed the unconscious man into the trunk, then drove Yuan Siu to the Hua Shou Villa. Meanwhile, at Tianlin Hotel, Chang Bingzhong paced anxiously, awaiting news about Miss Yuan. What if there was no update soon? Should he inform Mr. Song? His career was at stake. After a tense internal debate, he decided to call Mr. Song, hoping for the best. When Mr. Song answered, Chang Bingzhong's heart clenched. Mr. Song, I have something urgent to tell you. Miss Yuan Xian might be in danger, Chang Bingzhong reported to Song Yun, recounting the incident with Zheng Xi in detail. There was silence on the other end of the phone, and Chang Bingzhong spent what felt like the most difficult few minutes of his life in that fearful quiet. The mastermind behind this is Zheng Xi, right? Bring him to Huashu Villa. I'll be waiting for you there, Song Yun instructed. Earlier, Song Yun had contacted Huang Baoding to check on Yuan Xian's bodyguards. Upon learning that Yuan Xian had been rescued and the gang leader captured, Song Yun finally felt a sense of relief. It seemed that having security close to important people was indeed beneficial. You never knew when it might come in handy. I'll be right there, Mr. Song. Chang Bingzhong hung up the phone, motioned to two security guards from Shan Shui Group, and they headed off with Zheng Xi, who was now in a state of shock and had lost control of his bodily functions. On the way, Zheng Xi remained unresponsive, staring blankly ahead no matter what was said to him. They arrived at Huashu Villa, where 5 burly bodyguards stood like iron towers at the entrance. Mr. Chong Huang Baoding approached to confirm their identity. Yes, I've coordinated with Mr. Song beforehand, Chang Bingzhong replied with a sycophantic smile, knowing that this was Song Yun's personal bodyguard who stayed by his side 24/7, even sleeping in the villa. Bring him in, Chang Bingzhong instructed the security guards, who dragged Zheng Xi into the villa. Boss, Zheng Xi is here, Huang Baoding announced, covering his nose due to the stench. It was unclear what Zheng Xi had eaten, but he smelled awful. Song Yun emerged slowly, followed by Yi Qingqing and the visibly shaken Yuan Xian. When Zheng Xi caught sight of Yuan Xian, he suddenly snapped out of his stupor, realizing he was in an unfamiliar place, and that the man before him resembled the famous tycoon, Song Yun. Terrified, Zheng Xi began to struggle, dirtying the clean floor with his excrement. Song Yun, frowning and covering his nose, ordered, "Clean him up." No one wanted to touch Zheng Xi, not even Huang Baoding, despite his professional training. They could handle many things, but this was too disgusting. At this moment, one of the bodyguards protecting Yuan Xian stepped forward without hesitation. He grabbed Zheng Xi single-handedly and dragged him outside. Impressive, Song Yun praised, deciding that this month's bonus would be substantial. Boss, Fang Shanzong is a bit different, Huang Baoding explained awkwardly. He's not very bright due to a childhood fever that wasn't treated properly, but he's loyal and does his job without question. Song Yun patted Huang Baoding's shoulder reassuringly. Cries for mercy echoed from the yard as Fang Shanzong used a pressure washer meant for gardening to clean Zheng Xi. Enough, Huang Baoding intervened, fearing for Zheng Xi's life. It's still smelly, Fang Shanzong complained. It's his clothes, Huang Baoding explained. But Fang Shanzong tore off Zheng Sai's shirt in frustration. Stop. He needs to face the boss, Huang Baoding shouted, and Fang Shanzong finally relented, leaving Zheng Sai sobbing on the ground. Bring Zhang Kao in, Song Yun ordered. Huang Baoding brought in the unconscious Zhang Kao and threw him beside Zheng Xi. Zheng Xi, do you need me to recount your deeds? Song Yun's cold voice cut through the room. Zheng Xi stopped crying and quickly pointed to Zheng Kao. Mr. Song, I'm innocent. I like Miss Yuan, but I never meant to harm her. It was all his doing. Wake him up, Song Yun ordered. Huang Baoding splashed cold water on Zhang Kao's face. Zhang Kao awoke, saw Zheng Xi, and shouted hoarsely, Boss, we've been exposed. We need help. Zheng Xi wished he could seal Zhang Kao's mouth shut. This was a disaster. There's no way to argue my case. Zheng Xi couldn't understand why just trying to get close to a beautiful woman ended up with him in such a dire situation. It turned out that this beauty was the sister of the richest man in Shanghai. Now that everything was out in the open, he had no excuse to defend himself. Song Yun, a man of such high status, could crush him as easily as squashing an ant. Even without today's incident, just a bit of digging into his past misdeeds would be enough to land him in prison for many years. Mr. Song, have mercy. Mr. Song, please spare me. Zheng Xi knelt on the ground, repeatedly kowtowing. I'm willing to give you all my company's assets, just let me leave Shanghai. Boss Zhang Kao, who had just woken up, was confused by the scene. Why was Zheng Xi kowtowing? Don't call me boss, you idiot. Zheng Xi grabbed Zhang Kao by the hair and slapped him several times, shouting, You fool. If you hadn't suggested using unusual methods to get women, would I be in this mess? Damn it, today I'll kill you first. Zhang Kao, though initially confused, quickly became furious. Forget about Zheng Xi being a big boss or anything, he turned and started punching Zheng Xi. Song Yun was at a loss for words. What was going on today? He hadn't even started questioning them, and they were already fighting among themselves. Separate them, Song Yun ordered, frowning. One of you kidnapped a woman, and the other is complicit. How should I deal with you two? Huang Baoding's eyes flashed with coldness, and he made a cutting motion with his fingers. Song Yun smiled sinisterly. Brother Huang, you've given me an idea. They like playing games. Let's give them a game they haven't played before. I remember some special bars in Shanghai. Bring some men. Zheng Xi knew exactly what Song Yun was implying. He loved playing with women, but he definitely didn't want to be played with by men. Huang Baoding nodded and went to make arrangements. Song Yun squatted in front of Zheng Xi, patting his face lightly. I want you to be so scared of women that you'll avoid them for the rest of your life. Survive tonight, and I'll send you to jail tomorrow to work in the sewing room. If you don't survive, it's just bad luck. Song Yun, you're heartless. You and your... Bang! A bodyguard coldly dropped his baton, having just loosened Zheng Xi's teeth with a hit. Song Yun chuckled angrily, pried open Zheng Xi's mouth, and squeezed his remaining teeth. Sometimes physical force is the only way to shut you up. Boss. Everything's ready, Huang Baoding reported, his expression severe. The strongest men are waiting. Mr. Zheng, enjoy yourself, Song Yun said with a wicked smile. Keep an eye on them. If they survive, send them to the police in the morning. Huang Baoding and his men took Zheng Xi and Zhang Kao away. Poor Zhang Kao, always getting beaten and never knowing what was coming next. Sai Yi. Do you feel better now? Yi Qingqing comforted Yuan Xian, holding her close. Your brother has avenged you. If there's anything else you want, just say the word. I'm fine. I was just a bit scared today. Good thing I had people stationed around you, otherwise, who knows what could have happened, Song Yun said, unable to imagine the alternative. Darling, how about we go for a stroll tomorrow? Yi Qingqing suggested, her eyes bright. The flowers at the Shanghai University Film Department are in full bloom. I hear they're beautiful. Sure. Sai Yi, what do you think? I'm okay with it. But won't I be a third wheel? Yuan Xian felt a bit embarrassed. Not at all. I don't mind, Yi Qingqing reassured her. With everything settled, Song Yun planned to head back inside with his wife, but Yi Qingqing playfully pushed him out and pulled Yuan Xian inside. You'll be sleeping alone tonight, she teased, closing the door. Song Yun sighed, finding another room to sleep in for the night. Early the next morning, Huang Baoding reported back. Zheng Xi and Zhang Kao had been so tormented the previous night that they couldn't walk. They were handed over to the police, and if the evidence Song Yun submitted was accurate, they'd spend the rest of their lives in prison. Make sure they're placed in a cell like last night, Song Yun instructed, casually eating his breakfast. Huang Baoding nodded and left to carry out the orders. Once Yi Qingqing and Yuan Xian finished breakfast, Song Yun drove them to Shanghai University in an ordinary SUV. Shanghai University's film department was highly prestigious, with excellent faculty and its own film base. Many famous actors and celebrities were alumni. The campus was filled with beautiful people who could easily be the stars at any other university. Darling, I just remembered that the film department has a reservation system for safety, and I forgot to make a reservation, Yi Qingqing suddenly said. It's fine. We'll see when we get there, Song Yun said nonchalantly. Brother. People come from all over the country to see the flowers. Without a reservation, we might not get in today, Yuan Xian said with a hint of regret. Simple, Song Yun replied, having Yi Qingqing call Cheng Bingzhong. After witnessing Zhang Xi's punishment the previous night, Cheng Bingzhong was eager to stay in Song Yun's good graces. This favor would be a good opportunity for him. After Yi Qingqing called Cheng Bingzhong, he was overjoyed and assured her that he would get back with an answer within 10 minutes. Within 3 or 4 minutes, Cheng Bingzhong called back, confirming that everything was arranged and that a pavilion in the Flower Sea was reserved exclusively for Mr. Song's family. The Flower Sea spanned several thousand square meters and had 3 pavilions positioned as the best viewing spots. Securing one of these in such a popular place showed how much effort Cheng Bingzhong had put in. Meanwhile, in the Flower Sea, a young man dressed in trendy clothes was arrogantly giving orders to his companions. You guys guard all the paths here. Don't let anyone through. Brother Xuan, are you here to hit on that girl today? One of his friends asked. Don't always talk about hitting on girls. I'm here to confess my love. Brother Xuan, as he was called, sprayed himself with cologne and said, I'm planning to start a romantic relationship with the campus belle today. Don't mess it up at the crucial moment. Hee, don't worry, Brother Xuan. Who in school dares to disrespect you? We'll handle it. The group of college students then spread out to guard the paths. Sitting in the pavilion, Brother Xuan imagined, confessing here will surely make Ruir agree to be my girlfriend. Brother Xuan, whose full name was Qi Zixuan, was a junior in the film department at Shanghai University. Coming from a family in the new energy industry, he was a wealthy second-generation rich kid. He drove a million-yuan sports car and flirted with girls regularly. In his 3 years at the university, he had been involved with numerous girls, changing girlfriends faster than changing clothes. Ruir, the campus belle, had rejected his previous confessions. This time he was determined to succeed, even considering underhanded methods if necessary. Ruir, don't let me down, Qi Zixuan thought nervously as he touched the gift in his pocket. For this confession he had purchased a 4-carat diamond ring from abroad through his relatives, spending nearly 2 million yuan. It was half a year's allowance, showing how much he was willing to sacrifice for Ruir. About 10 minutes later, Ruir arrived with a few of her friends. Isn't the pavilion reserved for the school board? Why are we here? Ruir asked, puzzled. Her friends laughed it off, having received benefits from Qi Zixuan. They had to deceive Ruir to bring her here. When they reached the pavilion, Ruir was captivated by the beautiful flowers. Qi Zixuan, hiding in the pavilion, watched her intently. Ruir, what a coincidence! Qi Zixuan, adjusting his clothes, stepped out with a smile. Ruir was taken aback by the annoying voice. Qi Zixuan? What are you doing here? Qi Zixuan gestured invitingly. This is fate, Ruir. Since you're here, why not sit and chat in the pavilion? Yes, let's sit down. The sun is too hot, one friend said. We've been here 3 years and never entered the pavilion. You're impressive, Brother Xuan, another friend chimed in. Ruir wasn't naive. She realized her friends were bought off by Qi Zixuan. They used to despise him, but now they were flattering him. Sorry, I'm not feeling well. You guys can go in if you want to get closer to Qi, Ruir said, turning to leave. Qi Zixuan quickly grabbed her arm. Ruir, see me as a man tortured by love. I just want to be with you forever, Qi Zixuan said passionately. Qi Zixuan? Do you even know yourself? Ruir snapped, trying to break free, but his grip was too strong. Ruir, I know I have a bad reputation, but I've changed. Look, this is for you. Qi Zixuan pulled out a delicate box from his pocket, revealing a dazzling diamond ring. This diamond ring cost me 1.83 million yuan from abroad. I'm not mentioning the price to impress you, but to show that I'm serious about you. Ruir's friends gasped and started praising the ring. It's so beautiful. If I were you, I'd say yes immediately. So romantic, Qi. The diamond shine is making me dizzy. Ruir, think about it. What other man would spend so much for you? Men are all the same, but at least he's rich. Qi Zixuan felt triumphant. He knew women could be easily swayed by their peers. He decided to push further. Ruir, Be my girlfriend. Qi Zixuan kneeled on one knee, like proposing. Say yes. Say yes. What are you waiting for, Ruir? If a man did this for me, I'd never leave him. Ruir was silent. She looked at the kneeling Qi Zixuan and her happy friends. Doubts about Qi Zixuan's sincerity began to waver in her mind. Maybe he really had changed? This thought took root and grew rapidly in her mind. Song Yun parked the car outside the school and followed the two women towards the film department's Flower C. Cheng Bingzhong had already sent the name and location of the pavilion via WeChat. The three of them strolled along the path, enjoying the various flowers as they made their way to the destination. As they turned a corner, a young man blocked their path. Sorry, this area is closed today. This was one of Qi Zixuan's lackeys. Despite his unimpressive abilities, he had enjoyed the perks of being close to Qi Zixuan and had become arrogant, looking down on everyone except those as wealthy as Qi Zixuan. Since this path was the only way to the pavilion, Song Yun stepped forward and asked, "We weren't informed of any closures. Who issued this notice?" Seriously? He had come to Shanghai University to enjoy the flowers without bothering the school board, and now someone was blocking his way. Just then, his system, which had been dormant for a while, suddenly activated. Ding. The host is at the Shanghai University Film Department Flower C. Sign in. Finally, some assistance. Sign in, Song Yun mentally commanded. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in. You are now the chairman of Shanghai University and hold full ownership of its major research institutions. Song Yun wasn't interested in the chairman title itself, it wouldn't bring him much money. But the research institutions were different, they were internationally renowned and could potentially lead to groundbreaking advancements. A cocky young man approached and shoved Song Yun's chest, saying, "Qi Xiao needs this area today. Go somewhere else." Seeing Song Yun stay silent, the young man got closer, sneering, "Haven't you heard of Qi Xiao? Are you from out of town? Let me tell you, in the film department, Qi Xiao is the law. Don't make trouble, or you won't leave Shanghai University in one piece." Song Yun squinted his eyes, internally calling the guy an idiot. If he was this arrogant in school, who knew how unbearable he'd be in the real world? "Get lost and stop ruining my mood," Song Yun ordered. The young man and his friends found this amusing. "Wow, nobody's talked to me like that in ages. Who do you think you are?" He reached out to grab Song Yun's collar, but before he could touch him, his vision blurred, and he found himself flying into the flower sea. The flowers had thorns, and he started screaming in pain. Seeing how strong Song Yun was, the others hesitated. They were just regular students, not even as tough as minor thugs. "If you block my way again, you'll regret it," Song Yun warned before walking forward with the two women. The lackeys stepped aside quickly. They had seen clearly how Song Yun had thrown their friend with minimal effort. No one dared to challenge him. Outside the pavilion, Ruir's mind was conflicted. She glanced at the approaching man, thinking he was incredibly handsome, much more so than Qi Zixuan. Her eyes lit up, and she quickly pulled her hand back from accepting Qi Zixuan's proposal. "Is this love? That guy is so handsome," she thought, blushing and covering her face. Her friends also noticed and started whispering excitedly about the handsome man. Qi Zixuan, realizing the commotion, turned to see Yi Qingqing and Yuan Xian approaching. He was drawn to their beauty but quickly became angry. How had these people been let in at such a crucial moment? "Get out of here, or I'll make sure you regret it," Qi Zixuan shouted, furious that his moment was being interrupted. Song Yun, having planned to just observe, decided to intervene and pushed Qi Zixuan to the ground. Qi Zixuan, humiliated, cursed and pulled out his phone. "You just wait. I'll make sure you don't leave Shanghai University." Ruir, who had been about to accept his proposal, now looked at him with disgust. What a disgrace! She was glad she hadn't agreed. As Qi Zixuan prepared to call for backup, a group of middle-aged men in suits, led by an elderly man, appeared. Spotting Song Yun, they brightened and hurried over with obsequious expressions. These were Shanghai University's top officials, and the elderly man leading them was the university president. Qi Zixuan's arrogance vanished instantly. He stood there meekly, trying to appear innocent. "Mr. Song, why didn't you inform us of your visit? We could have prepared a proper reception," the president said, bowing slightly. "Hello, Principal C." Song Yun greeted, shaking the elderly man's hand. "Today I'm just here to relax with my wife and sister, not to inspect anything." "Your visit to Shanghai University is an honor for us," Principal C said excitedly. "Without your annual donations, many of our research projects couldn't have been carried out. On behalf of all the dedicated researchers, I want to thank you." Their conversation was overheard by Ruir and her friends. While Qi Zixuan managed to keep his composure, The rest of the group was stunned like startled rabbits. Qi Zixuan, seeing a familiar face among the school officials, quietly approached and tugged at the man's sleeve, whispering, "Uncle Niu, who is he?" "He's the chairman of our board and the owner of all Shanghai University's research institutions," Uncle Niu replied. Qi Zixuan's face turned pale. He wanted to leave immediately, cursing his bad luck for running into such a powerful figure today. "Hey, you over there," Principal C called to Qi Zixuan, his face stern. "Was it you who threatened Mr. Song?" Wiping the sweat from his forehead, Qi Zixuan put on a flattering smile and said, "Principal, I'm just an ordinary student. There must be some misunderstanding." Seeing Qi Zixuan's obsequious demeanor, Ruier and her friends looked on with disdain. This was the same Qi Zixuan who acted so high and mighty on campus. "Misunderstanding or not, come over and apologize," Principal C ordered. Qi Zixuan hesitated. His father donated a significant amount to the school annually and held an honorary title on the board. Shouldn't they be on the same side? He stood up straight and no longer acted subservient. "Principal C, give me some face. I'll have my father make another donation." Qi Zixuan. "Apologize," Principal C demanded, his brow furrowed. Despite Qi Zixuan's poor character, his father's substantial donations made the principal wish to downplay the incident. But now, seeing Qi Zixuan's lack of awareness, he was losing patience. "Principal C, it's just a board chairman. I refuse to apologize," Qi Zixuan declared arrogantly. Smack! Uncle Niu slapped Qi Zixuan hard across the face. "Qi Zixuan, don't drag your family down with you. Do you know who Mr. Song is? He's the richest man in Shanghai." Qi Zixuan was momentarily stunned, sitting on the ground and muttering, "The richest man in Shanghai." He never imagined he would provoke such a powerful figure. His family's 20 billion yuan fortune was nothing compared to Song Yun's wealth. Despite his usual arrogance, in front of Song Yun, he was insignificant. "Speak. Apologize." Uncle Niu dragged Qi Zixuan by his collar to Song Yun. Qi Zixuan, terrified, started slapping his own face while crying and begging, "Mr. Song, I was wrong. I'm nobody. Please forgive me." Song Yun looked at him coldly, not bothering to respond. "Mr. Song, Qi Zixuan's father is a patriotic businessman who's been too busy to properly discipline his son. Please forgive him this time," Uncle Niu pleaded. Song Yun, intrigued by Uncle Niu's plea, responded, "His mistake isn't significant, but Shanghai University, as a top institution, should be ashamed to have such students." This Principal Sai quickly interjected, "We will thoroughly review our students' conduct. I'll personally handle Qi Zixuan's expulsion. Will that suffice?" Hearing how his fate was decided in just a few words, Qi Zixuan felt utter despair. He realized that his status as a rich second generation was meaningless in the eyes of someone like Song Yun. "Mr. Song, Principal C, I'm willing to donate." Before he could finish, Uncle Niu covered his mouth. "Mr. Song has already decided to spare you. What more do you want? Someone like Mr. Song wouldn't care about your petty donations." "But my dad," Qi Zixuan started. "Your dad will only thank Mr. Song for his leniency." Uncle Niu cut him off, then bowed slightly to Song Yun before dragging Qi Zixuan away. As they left, Qi Zixuan was filled with regret. He now understood that no one cared about him. All eyes were on Song Yun. If he had been more humble, he might have won Ruer's heart. Song Yun addressed Principal C. "The future of the school is in the hands of you frontline managers. While selecting students, be sure to consider their character." Principal Sai nodded. "Your advice is invaluable, Mr. Song. We'll take our leave now. Enjoy your visit." Principal Ci and the other officials departed. Ruier and her friends, now huddled together, were amazed by what they had witnessed. They saw Qi Zixuan's passionate confession, the richest man in Shanghai, and Principal Ci, all within a short time. It was more thrilling than a movie. "Are you planning to stay here?" Song Yun's magnetic voice made Ruier and her friends' hearts flutter. Ruier had thought about asking for his contact, but seeing Yi Qingqing's noble demeanor, she gave up. Once everyone left, Song Yun spent another half hour in the pavilion with the two women, enjoying the flowers. In the following week, Song Yun fully integrated the Nangang family's businesses into his empire. His holdings now included Shanshui Group, Yi Group, Tianyu Entertainment, and Daxia Airlines, forming a true behemoth. With more companies came more responsibilities, and Song Yun found himself increasingly busy. After evaluating his cousin Song Jisheng, he promoted him to a high position in Shanshui Group. However, this only alleviated some of the workload. It wasn't until his father-in-law suggested hiring professional managers that Song Yun's burden finally started to ease, allowing him to regain some of his freedom. Recently, Song Yun's main activity has been spending time with Yi King, visiting all the entertainment spots in Shanghai. However, this has left Yi King feeling exhausted, constantly complaining about back pain and wanting to visit her parents. It's unbearable. Song Yun is just too much, she thought, fearing that at this rate, her back might actually break. Honey, I heard from Mom that Dad is sick. I want to go back and stay with them for a couple of days, Yi King said, snuggling up to Song Yun. Should we go together then? Song Yun offered. No, you're too busy. Besides, I'll only be gone for 2 days to rest. Once Dad gets better, I'll come back to you, Yi King replied, her eyes filled with sincerity. Alright, I'll take you there, Song Yun said, getting dressed. He playfully smacked her on the butt and added, Don't think I don't know what you're up to. If I find Dad in perfect health, you'll be in trouble. Oh honey, it seems Dad is already feeling better. Let's not go, Yi King quickly backtracked. Nope. Get dressed quickly, Song Yun said, chuckling as he admired his wife's figure, feeling he'd never tire of her beauty. Yi King pouted but dressed up and followed Song Yun to her family home. At the same time, Yi King's father was at home, carefully examining a stone wrapped in newspaper. Mr. Yi, this stone has great potential. It might contain green jade. What do you think, said a middle-aged man with an ordinary appearance, caressing the stone with a look of fascination. The man was a stone trader who had been active in the Yunmian region for years, selling from street stalls to owning shops. This stone was a family heirloom passed down from his grandfather, who never dared to cut it open. But now he needed funds urgently to purchase goods at an upcoming auction, so he traveled a long way to sell it to wealthy clients. One cut makes you poor, another makes you rich, and another leaves you with nothing, Mr. Yi said, stroking his beard. What's your asking price for this stone? 60 million, the stone trader replied urgently. To you this is a small amount, but for me it's life-saving money, so no bargaining. A fixed price, huh, Mr. Yi recalled the thrill of his younger days, cutting stones with friends. The sound of the cutting machine and the anxiety he felt came rushing back. This was not about the money, but the excitement. Alright, take the money from my assistant, Mr. Yi finally said, unable to resist the itch of curiosity. Dad. I'm back, a cheerful voice called out. Mr. Yi stood up with a smile as his daughter bounced into the room. You're married now, yet still so carefree, Mr. Yi said, tapping her nose. What brings you to see this old man today? Dad, I heard from Mom that you weren't feeling well, so I came with Song Yun to check on you, Yi King said, giving her father a look that hinted at her intentions. Though confused about his sudden illness, Mr. Yi chose to believe his daughter. I'm feeling better now. Where's Song Yun, Mr. Yi asked. Dad. I was just parking the car, Song Yun said as he entered, wrapping an arm around Yi King's shoulders. You're just in time. Come take a look at this new stone I bought, Mr. Yi said, pulling Song Yun over to admire the stone's rough surface like it was the skin of a beautiful woman. Song Yun recognized it as jadeite raw material, used for gambling stones. This hobby could make someone rich overnight, or bring them to ruin. Though he disliked gambling, he knew his father-in-law had enough wealth to indulge in such hobbies. Dad, how much did you pay for this stone? Song Yun asked. 60 million, not much, Mr. Yi replied nonchalantly. Years ago, I saw a stone king priced at over 2 billion. 60 million, Song Yun felt uncertain. The value of jade was unpredictable. What if the stone turned out worthless? System. I bet it will gain value, Song Yun decided, feeling lucky lately. Information received. Please resolve the stone within an hour. Dad, I'll call some experts to cut this stone right away. Let's see what's inside. Seeing Song Yun's excitement, Mr. Yi felt a bit reluctant. He had just gotten the stone and hadn't even warmed up to it yet. But there was no turning back. Alright, let's cut it open. Song Yun called in 3 seasoned jade masters, each with decades of experience. They brought along cutting equipment and spent half an hour debating the best way to cut the stone. With only 10 minutes left, Song Yun grew impatient. Ignoring the experts' arguments, he placed the stone on the machine. Let's see what we've got, he declared, ready to slice the stone in half to reveal its secrets.
Hi guys, your opinion means a lot to me. I'm working on improving the stories to make them more interesting for you. Please leave a comment and let me know what you liked about this story. Your feedback helps me get better and create content that you'll enjoy. Your feedback is very important to me. Thank you for your support and attention. If you enjoyed this story, I can't wait to share its continuation with you.